barely a week, and already my skin is better.
I lost 60 pounds. I mean, that's huge.
Since I've been on superfood, I haven't been sick.
It's borderline shocking how much energy I have.
Thousands of people take my Texas Superfood every day. Join us on TexasSuperfood.com.
TexasSuperfood.com.
Or call 877-55-TEXAS. That's 877-55-TEXAS. 877-55-TEXAS. Or
TexasSuperfood.com.
Building owners and managers. When it comes to maintaining the value of your commercial, industrial, or institutional building, there will be roof repairs or replacements for you to deal with. When you're looking for a good roofing contractor, search the ChicagoRoofing.org website for Chicagoland's best roofing contractors for repairs, replacements, or new construction. And you can check out their innovative roofing work also. All contractors at ChicagoRoofing.org proudly employ members of Roofers Union Local 11 who have undergone 5 years of rigorous training at the country's leading school for roofing, the Chicagoland Roofers Joint Apprenticeship Training Center. ChicagoRoofing.org contractors are at the top of their game and provide Chicagoland's best value for the best roofs all year long. Building owners and managers, you will have roof repairs or replacements to deal with. It's inevitable. Go to ChicagoRoofing.org. That's ChicagoRoofing.org.
5:09. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Let's get our first look at a slippery commute with Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. Yes, there is snow on the roadways. There's slick spots. There's a crash on the Adams Tollway westbound I-90 at Manheim. It's got a right lane blocked. It involves a vehicle into the wall. Kennedy Expressway inbound. Some of the downtown ramps have reopened after they've been closed for overnight work. The ramp to eastbound Congress is closed. This is to prepare for the long-term closure, which is scheduled to last into early 2020. Going from the inbound side of the Kennedy to eastbound Congress, we're not sure yet if that ramp will even reopen this morning or if it's now closed long-term. At the moment, it is shut down. Again, that's a long-term project. Ryan has outbound work at 87th once again this morning. 3 left lanes are closed until 6 this morning. The other expressways and tollways are pretty light for now. The roads are in decent shape for the most part. We'll be keeping an eye on that. Flight boards at O'Hare at Midway on a busy air travel morning show almost no delays. Traffic, service of Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is simple, so you can understand the details. Be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states. Equal housing lender. NMLS number 3030. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly cloudy and cold with occasional snow and flurries. Accumulation of a coating to an inch. Storm total snowfall amount 4 to 8 inches. High today, 25. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
Officially 10 at O'Hare, 8 along Chicago's lakefront, 7 at Midway. It is 2 above in Lansing, and the further south you go in the state, the colder the temperatures get this morning. Your next news update is at 5:30. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, our nickname widget of a president has come up with another one for our very own senior senator, Sack of Durbin. No, that's not it. He didn't steal ours.
Oh, he should have taken that. I think it's better than the one he chose. The one he chose is a little juvenile.
Senator Dickie Durbin.
Come here, little Dickie Durbin.
Dickie Durbin, with the emphasis on the icky, totally misrepresented what he said at the DACA meeting. What was said at the DACA meeting. Deals can't get made when there is no trust. Durbin blew DACA and is hurting our military. Well, kind of a throw in there. Well, of course
Well,
he's
'cause
hurting
of
our
the funding,
military.
right?
Well, he's hurting our military because he believes that U.S. soldiers are the equivalent of Pol Pot's Khmer Rouge or Soviet commissars. Remember his famous observations in the wake of the Abu Ghraib scandal back at the outset of the war in Iraq. So Dickie Durbin.
He was back in
Dickie
Chicago
Durbin.
yesterday
Ew.
defending what actually happened. He's not making this up, Dan. You hear me?
When he denied saying it, I felt duty-bound to clarify what actually happened.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. I'm telling you, he did not use that word.
So, I mean, it's a Republican versus Democrats. Who said what? Who heard what?
Who
Now
cares
there's-
is the
well,
question. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Do you get the sense that Durbin initiating this back and forth about what language was used in that meeting is a bit of an effort to provide cover for Democrats who don't want to make a deal on DACA and instead want to make it an issue, want to be able to virtue signal about DACA and the dreamers, as they term them, rather than actually horse trade some kind of permanent status for those DACA recipients in exchange for what Trump wants on border wall funding, on an end to the diversity visa lottery, and on some kind of reform of chain migration. Oh, I'm sorry.
What?
Family reunification, because Durbin also had this to say about what he allegedly said at the meeting.
When it came to the issue of, quote, chain migration, I said to the president, do you realize how painful that term is to so many people? African Americans believe that they migrated to America in chains. And when you speak about chain migration, it hurts them personally. And he said, oh, that's a good line.
Yeah, that's a good response from the president if he gave it, because that's all that is. That is a treacly bull-jive line that Dick Durbin provides with regularity, much to the fanfare of Illinois voters, I'm sorry to say. But honestly, chain migration is...
you got to get in a safe space when you hear that?
It's a reference to bringing slaves over in chains.
No. The new thing this morning, I don't know if you heard this, he didn't say blank hole, he said blank house. That's the new thing, that those countries are blank houses.
Who said that?
Purdue and Cotton and the woman in the room, Christine, oh my God, what's her name? They're saying now that he said house, not hole. So there's just a little vacillation going on of what was really said. But regardless if he said house or hole, I believe he said one of those two terms.
The question is...
But does it matter?
The question is this just an effort to not get a deal done? Is that what's really going on
CNN
here?
reported this morning a deal was going to his desk. He was going to sign it, but John Kelly ran in. Cotton and Purdue went straight to the Oval Office and said, do not sign this.
Mm-hmm. We're going to talk to Victor Davis Hanson later in the show about his piece and what the Dreamer fight is really about. And he makes the point. Remember how when the Democrats had control with President Obama in the White House, control of Congress with President Obama in the White House, they had the chance to make good on a promise that was rinsed and repeated throughout the 2008 campaign, path to citizenship. They chose to punt on that. Maybe this is more about Democrats using Dreamers as mascots than it is about actually any interest in doing anything for them. Certainly not until they get to not until they get the power that they want. Not that they get control of Congress. Maybe that's at play here. Victor Davis Hanson writes, Democrats are so focused on 800,000 Dreamers, less than 10% of the undocumented population, because they're politically photogenic and for now seen as the easiest group to exempt from efforts to control illegal immigration. In blanket fashion, the media consistently report they are model youth fulfilling their proverbial dreams of finishing college and achieving upward mobility. The narrative lacks subtlety, if not outright deceptive, Hanson goes on to point out. The average age of DACA participants, 24. Few after entering adulthood sought to address their known illegal status. Surveys suggest most are not in school. Fewer than 5% have graduated from college. Those employed earn a median hourly wage of $15.34, which means they're forced to compete on the lower end of the wage ladder. Only about 0.1% of DACA youth serve in the U.S. military. That's fewer than 900 total. So are there some great stories among a pool of 800,000 people? Of course there are. Is it the caricature of that group of 800,000 people that the D.C. press corps is presenting and the Democrats are amplifying? Not exactly. Not exactly. Dawn in Harvard, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
One, Illinoisans just need to get rid of Dick Durbin and vote him out of office.
Wow.
For years now, he has refused to meet with me, to talk with him about the impact of illegal immigration on me, my family, and my community. Again, I was very severely affected by a midnight home invasion by an illegal alien from Mexico. He has a responsibility to meet with his constituents, and he refuses to do that. He's got to go.
All right, thanks for the call, Don. He's up in 2020 if he decides to run again, and, if he does, it's Illinois. Yeah.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Ben Carson spoke on the matter, and Lindsey Graham came out to discuss some new feelings he has about it. But first, here's your forecast today. Mainly cloudy, cold. As you can see, there's some fresh snow on the ground, anywhere from 1 to 2 inches. A high of 24 degrees today. Tonight, clear but very cold, a low of just 7 degrees. And tomorrow, we're going to have sunshine. Woohoo! But it'll still be cold, a high of 21 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Amy and Dan, good Tuesday morning. Tri-State Tollway northbound or westbound 94 after Stearns School Road. There's a crash blocking the right lane. There was one on the westbound Jane Addams Tollway, I-90 at Manheim. That one has cleared. The other tollways are okay right now. Starting to see mild delays on inbound I-57, the Bishop Ford Freeway. 18 minutes about from I-80 to the merge. In either case, the Ryan getting a little heavy approaching downtown. There's outbound road work at 87th, blocking 3 left lanes. On the Kennedy, sometime this week, and it might be maybe this morning, the exit, the inbound side to eastbound Congress will close for part of the Burns Circle interchange reconstruction. That closure will be till early 2020. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
Hi, Amy Jacobson here, and I'm excited to tell our listeners that own or manage companies about a company you likely haven't heard of. I know that sounds strange, but with over 30 years in business, they've never had to advertise. They're that good. Anion Blinds is a local company that shares our values and have been selling and installing blinds, rolling shades, shutters, and motorized window treatments to area businesses for over 3 decades.
and every review is positive. You'll be amazed how cost-effective it is working with experts who can recommend the right products, install them, and guarantee all their work. From property managers and Fortune 500 companies in need of replacement window treatments to startups in the decoration phase, Anion Blinds does everything right. Call competitively priced Anion Blinds today for your window treatment consultation at 630-662-1621 or visit AnionBlinds.com. That's ANION Blinds.com.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Hi, I'm Andrea Kashava, owner of Tulane & Associates, an accounting and tax service in Elk Grove Village. If you're a small business, feeling snubbed or overcharged by your current accounting firm, I invite you to give us a try. You shouldn't have to feel overlooked by your current tax accountant because you're a small business. Small businesses and individuals are my specialty. I will always treat you and your business with respect, and we'll take care of as much or as little as you'd like us to do. From payroll to sales taxes, financial statements to business and personal taxes, projections, or bookkeeping services. Call Tulane & Associates at 847-952-1510 or visit TulaneandAssociates.com. That's THULIN, Tulane & Associates. Get a no-cost 1-hour initial consultation that could change the way you do business. Call 847-952-1510. That's 847-952-1510.
Restaurants come and go. Very few last. When you find a restaurant that served margaritas, fun, and fantastic food for over 2 decades, you can bet it's great.
That's the one-of-a-kind landmark Cafe Salsa Mexican Grill and Tequila Bar in Countryside. Cafe Salsa offers daily lunch specials, happy hour in the bar, half-price house margaritas on Wednesdays, and on Monday and Tuesday, 2 for $22 dinner specials. Ready to eat? Try Mexican-inspired influences on traditional fare, like Cafe Salsa's margarita salmon, honey chipotle glazed pork chops, and amazing carne asada with mushroom salsa. Plus, fajitas, a fantastic selection of quesadillas, many flavorful steak and chicken dishes, and shrimp tacos, hot off the wood-fired grill. Cafe Salsa's dining room is perfect for birthdays and family get-togethers. Check out their complete menu at cafesalsa.com or call 708-352-5100.
Make your plans for lunch or dinner today at Cafe Salsa, 55th Street and LaGrange Road in Countryside, cafesalsa.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking about Senator Dickey Durbin's comments about President Trump and the back and forth that's ensued. We'll take your better nicknames, better suggested nicknames for Dickey Durbin. Of course, Sack of Durbin, Durbin Bag are already on the board, so try and beat those. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
Oh, I got one. Snitchy Durbin, because people think he snitched. No.
Yeah, there's something there, but I think
Tricky
we have to
Dicky,
workshop that. That's been
Tricky
used.
Dicky Durbin.
Yeah.
Snitchy Dicky Durbin.
Jordan in Forest Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan. And I don't have a nickname, sorry,
All right.
but I wish somebody would ask Dick Durbin, what criteria would you use for people to come into the U.S. from other countries? What would you use?
Yep.
Because I think he would be kind of perplexed. He wouldn't know how to answer that. And I think that the message in not answering it would be, if you can come here, you'll be able to stay here. And that is that's really what the liberal view is.
Thanks for the call, Jordan. No, that's right. I mean, is there anyone that should be excluded from America. Now, they'll say, well, of course, people who are here illegally who commit crimes, but also, of course, they're not actually that interested in deporting them through their behavior. I hear what they say, but then I watch what they do. It's just like Steny Hoyer at that meeting,
Right.
pounding the table saying, we are for border security. Democrats are for border security. Well, not based on what you do when you're in power, when you have the opportunity to make a deal on the issue. So there's a real disconnect there. But to Jordan's point, yeah, what is the basis for which people should be able to come to America and stay? Is there anyone that should be excluded for any reason? Or is it just if you get here, you're here forever?
People from certain countries.
Sweden.
Yeah, you don't want the Northern Europeans. I mean, really. Look what we've done already to this
Godless
country.
welfare queens. Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know what? There's so much material here, and I've been disgusted with Dick Durbin for how many years he's been in office, probably every single one of them. But I would like to ask Dick Durbin, I said, what is the benefit to the country for bringing in these immigrants from all over the world? He probably doesn't have any answer. It's a great benefit for the people that are coming in here. And then, you know what, they always quote that statue in New York, the Statue of Liberty, bring your hungry or whatever.
Yes, Emma Lazarus,
you know what,
yes.
maybe that's a statue that should come down. Have a nice day.
I don't know about that, Ed. Thanks for the call. That's a little dramatic. And in addition to that, many immigrants who come to this country add great value to the country.
Yeah.
So this is not, at least from my perspective, this is not about ending immigration to America or raising the Statue of Liberty. Don't want to do either. I just want to understand what, as our friend Jordan said, what's the criteria, and are we interested in enforcing it? John in Huntley, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, here's kind of a throwback to Don Wayne and Roma. I think they used to call him Eddie Haskell from Leave It to Beaver.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, they did. Yep.
Thanks for the call. Yeah, kind of a false goody two shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Chip in St. Charles.
I would like to call him Sack a Turban. And the Democrats don't want to make a deal on the DACA guys because they're not going anywhere. So they can virtue signal, and they're not. They don't have to make a deal on them because they're not going anywhere.
Well,
I don't know if that
thanks for the call, Chip. Although President Trump has set a March 5th deadline, we'll see if he mans that line. I mean, he could call their bluff.
That's true.
Paul in Lake Forest.
Hey, good morning.
Hey.
I don't know if I got a nickname for him, but I know what the outfit would have a nickname for him. It would be Dickie the Rat. Okay. And he would end up with a canary feather right behind his left ear.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Paul, and the gangland references. We always appreciate those.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Ex-wife of one President Trump, Ivana, speaks to Piers Morgan about her ex-husband. And in a very complimentary fashion, you'll be surprised to learn, Amy, at 5:38.
And later, President Trump breaks with other presidents on MLK Jr. Day. Just what did he do yesterday? But let's get into the newsroom first. Here is Mike Scott.
9 degrees. Former White House Chief Strategist Steve Bannon on the hot seat today. Scheduled to appear before the House Intelligence Committee, part of the committee's investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election. Bannon's closed-door interview will focus on his work with the campaign, not anything to do, according to questioners, with his time in the West Wing. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson will huddle up with nations that fought on America's side in the Korean War. They're looking to tighten the economic noose around North Korea over its nuclear weapons. The 20-nation gathering is happening in the West Coast Canadian capital of Vancouver. Southern California couple is under arrest, accused of holding their 13 children captive. Their 17-year-old daughter telling police she escaped from the Paris, California home where her 12 brothers and sisters were being held. Officers found some of those children shackled to beds. The CDC is postponing today's planned briefing on nuclear war preparations to focus on a more immediate health threat, the flu. Today's briefing for public health professionals will provide the latest information on how to reduce the spread of the spiking flu cases that have turned deadly. Olympic gymnast Simone Biles says she was also a victim of abuse by former Team USA gymnastics Dr. Larry Nassar. The sentencing hearing for the former Michigan State University and USA gymnastics doctor will begin today. Rachel Den Hollander is among those who will be making victim impact statements, and it was her case that got things going against Nassar.
To finally see justice coming for him is very healing.
Nassar, for sexual abuse of women, is facing a minimum of 25 to 40 years in prison. Federal judge with a history of being very tough on a long list of corrupt Northwest Indiana politicians will sentence former Lake County, Indiana Sheriff John Bunchitz today. James Moody will seek to imprison the county's former top cop for soliciting and receiving bribes from towing firms competing for county police business. An investigation continues after an employee was shot during a robbery over the weekend at a Family Dollar store in Lansing. Chicago sports, Bulls upend the Heat, 119-111. Nebraska, a buzzer-beating win over the Fighting Illini in Lincoln, 64-62. Marquette beat DePaul, 70-52. And Oakland topped UIC, 78-68. The news, a service of Geico Chicago. A Chicago Geico has even more ways to save you money. Your local Geico agent is ready to deliver the personal service you need with the savings you love. 773-582-8888. 773-582-8888 for your local Geico agent. 5:33 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says talk of a coup is no laughing matter.
I want you to consider the seriousness of an attempt at a coup. This isn't funny. This isn't lighthearted. This shouldn't be just gossip. Watching people attempt to take down a presidency is starting to really get my attention.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. Who would win a 3-mile bicycle race, an 11-year-old girl or last year's winner of the Tour de France? It all depends on the bicycle. It depends on their vehicle. Both on a 10-speed and the pro racer is going to win every time. But put the racer on a tricycle and the 11-year-old wins every time. You see, it's not the driver, it's the vehicle. When it comes to generating revenue, it's exactly the same. If you have a job or a small business, you are riding a tricycle. You can only go so fast. If you need to make up lost ground, it's not going to happen on a tricycle. No matter how fast you pedal, it's simply not going to win the race. Why do many people with no schooling and no advanced degree often become very wealthy? Simple. They choose to only ride 10 speeds. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss when it comes to putting people on a 10-speed. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
5:35. Let's get a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Kennedy Expressway inbound. It's heavy early this morning. Cumberland, Canfield, and Division to Ogden. 22 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 20 downtown. The inbound exit ramps had been closed for overnight work. They've all reopened, but sometime this week, the ramp from the inbound Kennedy to eastbound Congress will close for long-term construction at Burns Circle. Edens is fine. Eisenhower inbound, little tight North Avenue to the Tri-State. Just a brief tap of the brakes there. Stevenson runs 36 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound fine at 34. Ryan, 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 19 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop 421. Northbound Tri-State after Stern School Road. There's a crash in the right lane. Traffic is a service of Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is simple. You can understand the details. Be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states. Equal housing lender and MLS number 3030. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Thank you, Jim. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Mainly cloudy, cold, occasional snow and flurries, up to another inch from right about now until when the snow ends, high 24. Clear, very cold overnight, low of 7 above. Sunny and cold tomorrow, high 21. Currently, 10 degrees. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too early. I saw them perform in Detroit. I loved her.
Dolores
And she's
O'Riordan.
dead, Dolores O'Riordan.
Yeah.
They're saying that she was recently diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and she had chronic back pain, and she died while she was in a recording studio in London.
Right. She's only 46 years old.
46. And she has 3 kids. It's so sad.
Yeah, so it's unusual, but not a lot of details. I've just seen exactly what you reported, so I don't know more than that. But
if anything
unfortunate.
breaks during the show, we will let you know. But
Very
she had the most unique voice, didn't she?
She did.
Captivating.
All right. Trump yesterday, some of you probably took the day off in honor of Martin Luther King Day.
And so did he.
We worked. He presided over a ceremony honoring Martin Luther King.
Well, on Friday, right? Yeah. Where he asked people to honor the life of the civic rights legend by doing some community service or civic work. And normally presidents do that on MLK Jr. Day, but he was at Mar-a-Lago, and the White House would not lend out the details of what he did.
Alveda King, who's Martin Luther King Jr.'s niece, she was on Fox and Friends over the weekend as well, talking about the president amid allegations that he's a racist, including, not that he's a racist, this is not Mia Love's allegation, but that what he said about, or allegedly said about countries in Central America and Africa was racist. Alveda King had this to say.
Racism is just a word that's being bandied and thrown about and thrown at the president, in my opinion, unjustly. President Trump is not a racist. I've been with the president recently quite a bit, and when he signed the legislation making the historic site, Martin Luther King site in Atlanta, Georgia, a national park, it was introduced by Congressman John Lewis, and that, believe it or not, that's one thing the two of them did together. It took two to do it, and I'm so glad the president has done it. But what is so outrageous, to call a man a racist who continues to acknowledge the significant work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., my uncle, in a positive way. And he puts his money where his mouth is. He puts his energy behind it.
Don't you think, considering all that has happened in the past 72 hours, that President Trump should have volunteered at a predominantly African-American homeless shelter or a community center? I mean, my God, who's in charge of him? That is ridiculous. Well, look, I mean, if you see what other past presidents have done, during his 8 years in office, George W. Bush, he participated in service events, invited African-American clergy to the White House for lunch, attended church, cultural services. Of course, the Obamas made it an annual tradition where the entire family would do some type of service event or work at a soup kitchen on MLK Jr. Day.
Yeah, symbolism is important in politics. It has some utility. However, I mean, did you hear what Alveda King just said?
I did.
Okay.
I still don't like that he sat on his hands yesterday. I mean, he had an opportunity to right this wrong, to come out and say, instead of just being with, overnight walking from one wing of his house to the other wing of Mar-a-Lago and say, no, I'm not a racist. I'm the least racist person you'll ever interview. He could have done something brilliant yesterday and used that moment to hang out with African-American people that are a little less fortunate. Yeah, I know you might think it's just a photo op.
Well, that's what it would be, wouldn't it?
I don't know. I mean, he says he's not.
What would it be? Would it be transformative?
Hang out with Haitians?
Would it be transformative?
No, let the people know that, hey, look, I didn't mean what I said. You're wonderful people. We're glad you're here. Because
he didn't say.
You know what happened with the Haitian community yesterday? Exactly like I said they're going to do. They gathered together and they protested outside of Mar-a-Lago, and they had huge Haitian flags that they were waving when his motorcade drove by to let him know, hey, we're here. We're staying here. We're good people. He could have done that. I just think for him to say, and he wasn't golfing. There's no shots of him golfing, but that was just strange that he did nothing yesterday.
Ivana Trump, his ex-wife, was on Piers Morgan's Britain Today show.
Is that what he's doing these days?
Yeah.
How did they say it? Die.
He's done a, Piers Morgan has almost done a 180 since Trump was elected, or even in the run-up to Trump being elected, as compared to that ghastly show that he hosted on CNN, where he was just,
when
he was like
Hillary King?
He was like a British Don Lemon. He's an idiot. So it's really interesting I guess he was just playing a part. I don't know. But Ivana had interesting answers to some of the questions Piers Morgan posed before we even get to things that are topical. He just asked, their communication.
Oh, yeah.
And do you think he's enjoying being president?
Do I believe that he's president? I really knew when he said he's going to run. When Donald said something, mind on something, he's going to do it. And was I shocked that he won? Yes, everybody were. And now everybody were, but America voted, and he's our president. And you like it or leave it,
Does he like it? Is he enjoying being president?
I think he loves to deal and wheel. He likes to make decisions. He likes to read the contracts. He runs the country as a business. And this is how it should be run.
The question of whether or not her ex-husband is racist.
I don't think Donald is racist at all. Sometimes he says the things, which are silly, or he doesn't really mean them, or something like that, but he's definitely not racist. I'm sure of that.
And on how Trump treated her, because he's, racist, like all Republicans. He's a racist, misogynist, xenophobe, et cetera, et cetera. So we got the race question out of the way. How about the misogyny question, particularly with those, in the context of those women who have accused him of harassment?
How does he treat women, and how did he treat you? Because that ended in a rather unsavory way, didn't it?
Well, he treated me fantastic. I never had a problem. Don was always polite, always outspoken,
Despite
always
the details
providing.
that emerged after your divorce?
After my divorce, yeah. See, during the divorce, it was nasty because the lawyers were involved. In a minute, when the divorce was finalized, our financial agreement was done, we are friends. We were together for 16 years.
Did he ever treat you badly in the marriage?
Never, never.
Except the side hustle he had going on with Marlo Maples, but that's all right. I mean, couples work it out.
Yeah, I mean, look at you. You go through a contentious divorce, and now you're the best of friends with your ex-husband.
Kind of like that, just a little different. Just a little different. So bad. I'm gonna hit you.
So this is interesting to hear from Ivana. By the way, did you see her?
Yeah, I did.
Do you think she's had some work done?
What work has Ivana Trump had done? 312-642-5600. Well, she's old. I mean, how old is she?
Who's had more work done, Ivana Trump or Chelsea Manning?
Well, Chelsea Manning looks a little more natural than Ivana.
Yeah. I mean, but it's interesting.
I shouldn't laugh at all. It'll happen to us. Right?
Her perspective, no question, it's happening.
When I walk around like this,
it's happening.
I can't move my mouth.
But her perspective is interesting because of, this is decades in the past now, but she still stays in touch with.
They talk every day.
Trump.
There was another interview where she said that they talk or text at some point in time every day.
Yeah, they communicate about the kids and whatnot.
And
so it is interesting. I mean, it goes to this whole discussion about the public Trump on the campaign stump, on television, in front of the cameras, and then the private Trump. And you've heard a lot of stories, not just from people who were formerly married to him, but people that have interacted with him in a professional setting, and how different he is one-on-one or in a small group outside of the view of cameras as compared to what you see on the campaign trail or on reality TV shows, which shouldn't come as a surprise to people. But we do have this tendency to say to make a judgment based on effectively the one-dimensional character that we see on TV, whether it's a politician or an actor or actress. I mean, think about, Bill Cosby was Mr. Huxtable.
Right.
Until
he became little roofy guy.
Well, right. So, it's just the danger with making judgments about people you don't really know based on a character they play that you like or don't like. Now, of course, with the President of the United States, you hope that's not a role that somebody's playing. You hope there is authenticity and authenticity in a positive direction. But it is just interesting to get perspective from people that, were with him like she was for nearly 2 decades. Now, back to the Haitian matter. I thought this was an interesting response from Pierre Garçon, who is wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. He's a native of Haiti, and he told TMZ Sports this in response to the president's comments about his home country.
It was hard to understand why would you even say something like that. It's embarrassing. He probably says it in privacy, like, people talking privacy, but to say it publicly. And, as an adult, as matured adult, knowing Donald Trump as, what we were feared before he became president, and for him to actually show what he really is as the president, you're not surprised or expected, not surprised by what he says.
What would you say to Donald Trump?
We would just, we'd forgive him. That's all we really can do. You can only try to show somebody something if they, don't want to experience it. That's there. But we are happy to be from Haiti. We're happy to be Haitian immigrants. There are a lot of Haitian people that are in America that are happy to come here and be an asset to the country. And, take pride in that and take pride in being an asset to our country. But, you don't fight fire with fire. You try to, shed light on the situation and try to see a different point of view to, encourage and embrace and enlighten everybody on what we have in the diamond or the pearl. When you first hear it, it's obviously you attack, like, all right, forget everything. But now it's like, all right, let's not get into a shouting match or let's not stoop down to that level. That's all right. Let's embrace our country and find out way more ways to market our country and invite people to come over and experience it with us.
Yeah, and maybe improve it too, of course. I mean, there's no question about that. But I thought that's a fair response from Garçon, from a Haitian immigrant,
but he said it.
Haitian heritage.
Yeah, he said it, and we should just forgive him and move on.
Well, and also, it's also a message to President Trump about being judicious with your words, even in a private meeting. A private meeting with Dick Durbin you might as well be a public meeting.
What you said will be repeated. One person that's trying to make a difference, Dan, is Conan O'Brien. He tweeted out, still reeling from real Donald Trump's very negative Yelp review of Haiti, which means I'll love it. I'm headed to Haiti later this week to explore and make some new friends. Stay tuned for my report.
Boy.
Hashtag Conan without borders.
Yeah, there's a guy desperate to be relevant, isn't he?
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Building owners and managers. When it comes to maintaining the value of your commercial, industrial, or institutional building, there will be roof repairs or replacements for you to deal with. When you're looking for a good roofing contractor, search the ChicagoRoofing.org website for Chicagoland's best roofing contractors for repairs, replacements, or new construction. And you can check out their innovative roofing work also. All contractors at ChicagoRoofing.org proudly employ members of Roofers Union Local 11 who have undergone 5 years of rigorous training at the country's leading school for roofing, the Chicagoland Roofers Joint Apprenticeship Training Center. ChicagoRoofing.org contractors are at the top of their game and provide Chicagoland's best value for the best roofs all year long. Building owners and managers, you will have roof repairs or replacements to deal with. It's inevitable. Go to ChicagoRoofing.org. That's ChicagoRoofing.org.
As the flu season approaches, you know how to protect yourself against colds and viruses, but do you know how to protect your computer network? Ransomware, viruses, hacks, it can stop your company's computer network in an instant. Is your network safe and protected? Can your data be restored easily? If not, then you need to make an appointment today with Turnkey IT. They provide frontline security for your network and its data, So if there's an email attachment opened in error or network intruder, Turnkey IT knows and fixes the situation. Here's what you do. You can talk to them over the phone or in person, but just know that Turnkey IT is your network safeguard against this season's worst bug. See what a dose of Turnkey's proactive support can do for you. It's easy. Visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
St. John's Northwestern Military Academy has been an all-male military school since 1884, but is going co-ed beginning summer 2018. Their midterm registration is January 21st, and you're invited to attend an upcoming St. John's open house. Consider St. John's Northwestern Military Academy for your son or daughter's middle and high school education in the beautiful Lake Country region of southwest Wisconsin. Your child will receive outstanding academics, superb athletics, leadership opportunities, a chance to live and learn with students from around the world, and most importantly, a safe and structured environment where each student can achieve at his or her full potential. To learn more about how a St. John's Northwestern Military Academy education can give your child the advantage he or she deserves, don't miss an upcoming St. John's open house. For open house dates and more information, call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET. Or visit their website, sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, M-U-E-L-L-E-R, CPA.com.
Email and the internet have done some wonderful things for business owners. There's more information at your fingertips, making decision-making a lot easier. The downside for some is the lost advice and interaction of working side by side with someone who can help. If you're looking for a business accountant that provides one-on-one service, call our newest business benefactor, James Cardelis of Archer Tax and Accounting. For example, at a recent visit to a small client, Archer Tax saved the family at least $60,000 through deferred capital gain taxes, probably forever. That does not happen with a monthly email of a data file. 2018 will be a crazy year for sole proprietors and small businesses with the new tax laws. If you want an idea of how your business will be affected and how to capitalize on the new rules, Archer Tax is offering a free consultation to discuss your needs one-on-one. Call 708-633-9854. Again, 708-633-9854 or visit archertax.biz today. The website again, archertax.biz.
Risk mitigation is an important consideration that smart companies pay attention to in today's complicated business climate. Some of the greatest risks occur when your company hires new employees or when you execute new business financial relationships. When your company hires, leases, or conducts financial transactions, decisions are critical. That's why veteran-owned and operated Global Verification Network is a company you should know. Startups to Fortune 100s trust Global Verification Network, and so should you. They're a background screening and investigative services company dedicated to expert, timely, and affordable background screening services for employment, tenant screening, and business due diligence. Global Verification Network is headquartered in Chicagoland, a federally recognized veteran-owned small business, and never offshores data like many competitors. To request your company's risk analysis without obligation or cost, visit globalverificationnetwork.com or call 877-695-1179 or visit them online at globalverificationnetwork.com. Global Verification Network, the risk mitigation experts, 877-695-1179.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000. 859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
5:57 in Chicago. Let's get an update on the roads. Quite a bit of snow, slippery conditions out there this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with a pretty precise measurement of all things roads. Here's Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. You're right. I-80, you've got a snow factor here, definitely. It's a stop and go eastbound from Gallagher Road to US 30. The crash just reported there. Kennedy inbound, a little sluggish from Cumberland to Foster, 22 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. How about 22 as well? Edens is okay. The Eisenhower, now 36 minutes from 390 to downtown. Outbound 30. Stevenson, 41 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The delay started First Avenue. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 25 minutes from 8094 to the merge. Toolway is generally okay. Northbound Tri-State, a little heavy approaching 290. Traffic, service, TrueCar. Looking to buy a car? Online shopping can be confusing. Not anymore with True Price from TrueCar. Now you can know the exact price you'll pay for the car you want and see what other people paid for it too. When you're ready to buy new or used car, visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly cloudy and cold with occasional snow and flurries. Accumulation of a coating to an inch. Storm total snowfall amount 4 to 8 inches. High today, 25. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
Currently 10 degrees at O'Hare, 8 degrees along Chicago's lakefront, 2 above in Lansing this morning. The news is a service of Walgreens. Looking to save money on your Medicare Part D prescriptions? As a preferred pharmacy, Walgreens offers copays as low as $0 on Tier 1 generics. On select plans, switch your prescriptions and start saving today. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. 5:59 on AM 560. The Answer. Here with the stories we're following this morning. Drivers dealing with another messy commute. Federal judge with a history of being tough on corrupt politicians will sentence former Lake County, Indiana Sheriff John Bunchich today. An investigation continues after an employee was shot during a robbery over the weekend at the Family Dollar store in Lansing. Illinois will have a new piece of its justice system in place by the end of the day, as Governor Rauner is due to sign a new law creating a director of the Women's Division at the Illinois Department of Corrections. Currently 10 above. More Dan and Amy after Fox. WIND Chicago News Time 6.
There's another S word that could be a big deal in Washington. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Shutdown. That's what could happen to the federal government as a fight over DACA and the controversy of what President Trump supposedly said could block a spending bill to fund the government beyond Friday. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, calling him Dickie Durbin on Twitter. President Trump accused the Senate Democratic whip of misrepresenting what he said at last week's immigration meeting. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who was at that meeting, says he doesn't like what he heard, but he says the most important thing right now is protecting dreamers.
Mr. President, close the deal. 80% of Americans want to give the DACA kids a better life.
Senator Durbin says he stands by every word he said about the meeting. Dave.
Rachel, 4 law enforcement officers are hospitalized in South Carolina after being shot early this morning.
The suspect, his name is Christian Thomas McCall. He's 47 years old. He was taken into custody.
He was also shot. Trent Ferris with the York County Sheriff's Office says it all stemmed from a domestic dispute. McCall fled. The first officer was shot around 1 a.m. in the search for him. The 3 others were shot 2 hours later. We don't know how badly they're hurt. A Paris, California couple is jailed south of L.A. facing torture and child endangerment charges after a 911 call early Sunday.
From a girl who said she'd escaped from her home and that her 12 brothers and sisters were being held captive inside.
Fox's Trace Gallagher.
When authorities first saw the girl, they say because of her emaciated appearance, she looked to be around 10 years old. But she's actually 17. Several children were, quote, shackled to their beds with chains and padlocks in dark and foul-smelling surroundings.
The victims range in age from 2 to 29 years old. Secretary of State Tillerson is in Canada for a summit of 20 nations discussing North Korea and its nuclear program and the sanctions against the North. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
On Tuesday, January 30th, President Donald Trump will deliver his first State of the Union address to Congress, to the country, and to the world. And AM 560, The Answer, is throwing a party, and you're invited. It's a taste of freedom, a State of the Union viewing party, presented by HealthInsuranceMentors.com at Avante Banquets in Fox River Grove. Enjoy a 3-course meal as you watch the president's speech. Tickets start at just $56 and are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/taste. Sponsored in part by StoreLock.
Relying on checking your credit to help protect you from identity theft? You're kind of walking through life with blinders on.
Parking meter. That came out of nowhere.
Because there are many kinds of identity theft you can still get blindsided by.
Bike messenger. Didn't see him coming.
Like someone getting an online payday loan in your name or selling your personal information on the dark web.
Open manhole. That snuck up on me.
LifeLock sees more. We use proprietary technology to detect a range of identity threats. And if you have a problem, a US-based identity restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock can spot threats you might not see coming.
Horse-drawn carriage. Sheesh.
Memberships start at $9.99 a month plus applicable taxes. Now get 10% off. Go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code NEWS. That's promo code NEWS. LifeLock. More detection, more protection.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Sunday mornings starting at 8.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, how about the continued fallout from the false alarm in Hawaii over the weekend?
Wow.
The false alarm indicating that Hawaii was under a ballistic missile attack. Ballistic missile threat inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill, was the emergency alert on Saturday morning.
And emergency management employee Vern Miyagi said it was his fault.
Mr. Miyagi.
Wax on, wax off.
I'm sorry, what did he say?
Wax on, wax off.
No, he accidentally pushed the button twice because he pushed the button and, and then there's things popped up on the screen. Are you sure you want to send this? And he hit it again.
And then he said this.
At fast, you accomplish pain defense.
Yeah. Should have focused on the karate portion of his profession. So here, the interesting thing about this, pressed it twice. So how is that an act? Press the button.
You said they pocket dialed them or butt dialed?
Yeah, butt dialed the ballistic missile alert. Press the button twice, and then waited 38 minutes to issue the correction because they had to get the high sign from somebody at FEMA, even though they knew it was a mistake. So how do you press the button twice? Why do you wait 38 minutes? And the response I love.
Yeah, all the left and all the Hollywood actors are blaming President Trump for this. Jamie Lee Curtis, some other, B-list actors are saying that this is all his fault.
And their argument is that Trump has created a culture of global fear of thermonuclear war, and also he's incompetent, and so incompetent people are in these key positions. Of course, Trump, the President of the United States, this just in, doesn't do the hiring at the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency. But okay.
It's a state issue, yeah.
But the delay, how do you accidentally press it twice, and then also the delay, And
Because it was 38 minutes of hell for people. And I was reading their text message yesterday. You know, everyone was texting their loved ones saying, "This is it. I've had a good life. You've been the best mom ever." I mean, it was heartbreaking to read this.
yeah, but I know Mr. Miyagi was focused on preparing Danny for going up against Cobra Khan.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Sweep the leg. You have a problem with that? No mercy.
Well, you got to worry about them sweeping the leg. That's right. That's how Cobra Khan does it. That's what happens at that dojo. But here's the thing. He said it was my fault, but he didn't explain how it happened. And then the response from Hawaii Governor Ige, I love this. You know what the problem is? It's the problem every time there is a government failure. Not big enough. You know what we need? We need two guys. We got one guy with the button responsibility. We need two guys. We need more redundancy on the button. Oh, and by the way, we're not going to issue any alerts for the foreseeable future until we get this system figured out. Okay, well, that's good. You went from a false alarm to no alarm in the case of an actual emergency while you're hiring the second guy to provide redundancy to the first guy who can't explain or hasn't explained how he pressed the button twice by accident. Is this all square with you? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636DA, turnkey.pro, text line. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but listening to what they say versus what happened, there's some incongruities at minimum, or certainly missing
they said
connections of dots.
After the mistake was made, and why it took 38 minutes is they couldn't get it together with FEMA to release a false alert. So then once they came out and said it was a false alert, the best they could do at the time was, the tollway roads, how they have the signs up, the digital billboards, and they said missile alert false, 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 false. So that was one way to try and reach people. But I mean, the
38 minute, if you knew it was false and you knew you accidentally pressed it twice, if this is an actual button or if this is not just kind of a way to explain to the populace what happened, then why don't you just correct it immediately?
Well, and 12 minutes.
And notify FEMA, correct it immediately, notify FEMA what happened. Rather, this is the whole, I don't have the ability to problem solve. I don't have the ability to independently think. All I am, I'm a brick in the wall. I'm, part of INCSOC. I have to wait to be told. I have to go. You made a mistake that you know was going to result in people, running around in terror.
Well,
so why would you wait to correct it?
Yeah, and people thought they had 12 minutes. So there was some pushing and shoving. One person texted their mom, "We're under an immediate missile threat. We are seeking shelter in the basement of a nearby hospital. I'm really scared. I love you guys. I'll keep you updated the best I can. 4 minutes left if they launched it. Please pray we get inside in time."
Yeah, well, here's an interesting perspective on those 38 minutes. This comes to us from Jason Jones, who's a friend of the show. He's a big pro-life advocate and filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Jones lives in Hawaii with his family, father of 7. He saw the alert. He had one thought, so it's today. Jones grabbed the go bag with his Glock 9mm, packed his family into the minivan, took off for local mountain range, ignoring the speed limits. He wanted to put his family between the mountain range and Pearl Harbor, thinking that maybe that was a
sacred spot.
That's
a safe spot.
It's a target. Well, I mean, the idea that Pearl Harbor would be an asset that an enemy might target.
Okay.
Right? So this is the whole thing.
Oh,
it's like what I say, go to the water or go to mountain range, go get
you
low-value targets.
On a little dinghy
yesterday. Go to areas where there's low-value targets, because the reality is a ballistic missile attack, I mean, obviously it would be horrific. Most would survive.
Well, not if he attached a nuclear head on top of the ballistic missile, which, you don't know. These are crazy times. Yeah. And Kim Jong-un is a little off.
Actually, that's not even true. Okay. It would be catastrophic and so on and so forth. But anyway, so Jones, he had the idea for his family to take shelter in a nearby Makua Cave.
I'm glad you said it, not me.
Makua Cave, which local lore says is haunted. I told my family that's our rally point. Jason's 2 oldest kids, a son and a daughter, are adults, live outside the house. The other 5 are between 4 and 11. when his oldest daughter called, Jason remembered thinking, if we don't intercept this missile, this could be the last time I hear my daughter's voice. And, of course, families across the islands were having that same reaction, interaction, as you were mentioning some of those text messages. Then, as they arrived in the cave, Jason's phone lit up again that the attack was a false alarm.
Ugh.
They took a photo to celebrate that he posted online. The interesting thing about his reaction, though, is his message to his kids was, thank God for this experience. Because he considered families fleeing war in other countries. Rushing your family out of a house, fearful your children will become casualties of war. That's an experience most Americans are fortunate enough not to experience. Mm-hmm. But it's a grim reality for Christians and other religious minorities persecuted in the Middle East, for example. He essentially contemplated and considered that his flight from war was over in 38 minutes. For Christians in Iraq, for example, it's lasted years. So, it's a thoughtful perspective, and, you don't get a lot of those.
And while you were sleeping, another accident happened. The Japanese city officials activated its emergency broadcast system, saying that an inbound missile from North Korea was on its way. But it didn't take them 38 minutes to right the wrong. Instead, it took 5 minutes.
Does Miyagi run the Japanese system as well?
Wax on, wax off.
I don't know.
Mike in Union, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I have it on good authority. I know who it was that actually hit the button. It was Matthew Broderick.
War Games.
War Games.
Sure. Yeah, of course. Nice War Games reference. Thanks, Mike.
Well, there was a Chicago lady there and grandmother who now she has a different perspective on life because they thought they were all going to die.
I sent a message to my grandkids at home, and it made me realize, my God, I could have never seen them again. I was sick to my stomach for at least 2 hours afterwards. I was shaking, and it was scary, very scary.
Yeah, a lot of tourists were there at the time, and a lot of tourists are leaving Hawaii, and some aren't going to go because they don't trust their system. They don't, honestly, Hawaii's got to work on keeping tourists on their islands.
Well, of course,
that's
the
their number one industry.
Yeah, of course.
Others had bunkers. Oh, you want to hear this, Mom? She threw her kids right down the stairs in their secret bunker behind their house.
Started throwing things down into the bomb shelter, and we closed the top, and then we got on our phones and looked for updates.
Yeah. I know the storm drains, but that's where the killer clowns are, so I don't really understand the
Why
point
do you
of
have
that.
to bring that up? You know I can't stand clowns.
Now, again, despite the acceptance of responsibility, there are obviously a lot of questions about Mr. Miyagi, including how do you catch a fly with those chopsticks? But there are people rallying to his defense, including Governor Ige, who had this to say.
Sing it, Dan.
We did it all for the glory of love. It's a nice moment in difficult circumstances. God, I miss Ralph Macchio.
Greetings, strange game. The only winning move is not to play.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Today, mainly cloudy, cold. You're going to have some flurries. And we have about 1 to 2 inches on the ground from last night. It happened while you were sleeping.
I've got to interrupt. I've got to.
Oh,
We've
yes,
got,
sir.
of course, we have Karate Kid scholars in our listening audience, and I said Cobra Khan. And that was Kubla Khan and Cobra Kai. I did a portmanteau. It's Cobra Kai.
Cobra
was
Kai.
the dojo, was the rival dojo to. Yeah.
That's right.
I apologize. Thank you, Rob Jowar, for tweeting that. Rob Jowar, noted Karate Kid scholar.
Okay. Today, when you wake up, you're going to have a new dusting of snow anywhere from 1 to 2 inches on your cars if you parked outside or on your sidewalks. Today, flurries will be ending This morning, it's going to be a high of 24 degrees. Tonight, it'll be clear but cold, a low of just 7 degrees. And for tomorrow, finally, the sun will be here, but it will be cold, a high of 21 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. And there is snow on the Adams Tollway, I-90 eastbound. There's a crash east of Bartlett Road in the left lane. And it's also stop and go in the area between Higgins and Hoffman Estates. And before Roselle Road, there were a couple of collisions there. They've just cleared out of the way. And then it's heavy on the Adams Tollway from the Tri-State to the Kennedy. Eastbound Reagan Tollway, speeds are reduced due to the snowy roadway between 59 and 53. Eastbound I-80 stop and go Briggs to US 30 with a crash reported. Edens is 21 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose. Kennedy, 23 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 26. Inbound Ike, 36 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 31. Stevenson, 43 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95 to downtown. Bishop Ford, 30 minutes, 8094 to merge. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, I have a great idea for the new year. If you haven't bought yourself a MyPillow yet, the buy one, get one free offer has been extended through January 31st. Remember, this deal is only available online using the promo code Amy. It's not available in stores, and I urge you to go online or call now and take advantage. By using the promo code Amy, you'll get the absolute best deal available. MyPillow absolutely helps me get a great night's sleep. I move the fill to get the support I need, regardless if I sleep on my back or side, and I do not wake up with a stiff neck or headache. They're made in America. You can wash them and dry them. Hypoallergenic. Plus, there's a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your buy one, get one free offer by going to MyPillow.com, Amy in that promo code, or call 800-489-0201 and tell them Amy sent you.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I want to get to this story out of California, but quickly closing out our discussion of the Hawaii false alarm. George in Elk Grove Village.
Good morning.
Hi.
I'd just like to say that why don't they treat this like somebody that pulls a fire alarm? You know, the guy should be either fired, fined, or jailed.
He's a government employee, George. You don't get fired.
He just
Come
got
on.
reassigned.
Thanks for
which
the
is
call.
ridiculous.
With a bump in pay.
No.
For the emotional duress he endured, which is appropriate. Yeah.
But they were so calm at the press conference, considering what, chaos and the havoc that they wreaked on thousands of people. They just seemed so like, oh, it's my fault, it's a mistake, won't happen again. Oh, okay, really? It's ridiculous.
All right, so there's this interesting piece by J.D. Tassile in Reason Magazine. He suggests that you throw your kid in the scorpion pit. And apparently a family in suburban L.A. took that to heart of sorts.
Oh, yeah. In
Did you see this
Riverside,
story?
yeah, Riverside County. It's a town called Paris, and
13 kids shackled to beds and held captive by their parents.
They were chained and padlocked and living in filthy, disgusting conditions. And one of the 17-year-old girl escaped and found a cell phone in the house and immediately called 911. Do you see the parents' mugshots?
Yeah.
Yeah, Father of the Year, Mother of the Year.
The dad kind of looks a little bit like Gerard Depardieu. Did you notice that? Here's a leading indicator.
To give you a visual, that's what it looks like.
Leading indicator that there may be problems at home. Since 2011, the couple has renewed their vows 3 times.
Yeah, they keep showing that wedding picture of them, and all the girls are wearing matching dresses, white tights, and white shoes.
Yeah.
Looks like a cult.
They renewed their vows 3 times in Las Vegas with an Elvis impersonator officiating over the vow renewal each time. That's a sign.
That's a sign. Because of the Elvis impersonator, or they had to keep renewing their vows?
Yes.
Dad's 57. Mom, Louise, is 49.
$9 million bail for for this
Good.
child abuse. The kids ranging from 2 to 29. And if you didn't hear the story, 17-year-old girl was able to escape and use a cell phone she found in the home to call police with her claim about both her and her siblings being shackled, being malnourished, and otherwise being abused.
But I mean, that 2 to 29. I mean, they're
well, when you have
shackling and
13,
chaining, well, young adults. I mean, shackling them too, and there was really dark conditions. One neighbor said that she had no idea they had 13 kids. She lived right next door, and she said she saw some of the older kids and that they were unbelievably malnourished, completely pale, small body frames, and she still didn't call the police.
The other thing that's interesting about
Some
this
brainwashing going on
is the father had received state approval to run a private school, the Sandcastle Day School, at the family's home. The school enrolled 6 students this year, grades 6 through 12. He was listed as the principal. So if there were other kids from other families in the home, I mean, it's just it's one of these really, obviously troubling and bizarre cases.
Well, all the kids are being treated right now at local hospitals.
So here's the thing, though, about the larger issue about raising kids. Don't do that.
No,
that's parenting tip number 1.
Oh, yeah, this is Dan Proft's
parenting tip. Yeah, don't chain your children to immovable objects, or in general.
How do they hide
no
their
handcuffs.
secret like that?
Going back to the piece about throw your kid in the scorpion in the scorpion pit.
Yeah.
Tassile and Reason writes, he has a class on race and emotional safety. An old friend of mine squealed with delight about her son's public school schedule. I'm equally delighted to report that my own kid receives no such lessons. When it comes to Anthony's education, my goal is to de-emphasize, not ratchet up the importance that race plays in his interpersonal dealings. I also don't think that focusing on emotional safety, whatever that is likely to build the kind of strong, resilient people who can handle life's curveballs. But I'm also glad my friend is free to feed her offspring whatever nonsense she sees fit. The worst-case scenario is a world of homogeneous groupthink. Instead, if enough families do their jobs right, our kids will grow up in a world of differing opinions and contending values, the sort of intellectual scorpion pit that fuels a free and open society. In other words, he may look at his friend and how his friend's educating his kid, where he's sending him to school, and how he views things like classes on race and emotional safety, the safe space, and the gender and the identity politics classes, and he may celebrate that. And Tassile's taken his kid in a different direction. Well, it's fine. Let's see how that works out in the real world. Let's see who charts the better path, as it were. Is that fair? I mean, you don't want to impose your will on parental decisions regarding a child's education, even if you find them empty-headed. And that kind of free marketplace of ideas, which is, for example, what colleges are supposed to be, and even K through 12, differing opinions, explain yourself, think about this, independent critical thinkers, that's what we want. And let's see who is most persuasive rather than who can gain access to the tools of coercion. Isn't that fair? Is that a good way to think about parenting and about these educational choices? The scorpion pit. You like it?
I do like it. It's hard to be a mom. I mean, it really is. It's backbreaking work, and sometimes, you get a little tired.
Being a mother is the most difficult job on the planet. Oh yeah, all those mothers who die every year from black lung, from inhaling all that coal dust. Dude, women are just constantly patting themselves on the back about how difficult their lives are, and no one corrects them. What would you rather be doing? Drilling to the center of the earth, shaking hands with the devil? Every time there's a rumble in the ground, you wait for the whole thing to collapse down on top of you so they can write that folk song about you, Would you rather be up in the sunshine, running around with a couple of toddlers that you can send to bed anytime you want on some sort of trumped-up charges, right? Because you want to have a drink and watch The Price is Right, you know what I mean? I couldn't believe it. It's the most difficult job on the planet. Oh, yeah. I thought roofing in the middle of July is a redhead. I thought that was difficult. But these mothers are bending over at the waist, putting DVDs into DVD players. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it.
That's Billy Burr. That was Amy laughing. That's her view of motherhood, not my view. Don't put that on me. Chris in St. Charles.
Hey, I'm on a business trip. I'm in Reykjavik, Iceland this week, so the only thing I get is British news. So Sky News has been showing the actual video of their first dance after one of their renewal vows with the Elvis impersonator. Yeah. You got to check it out. The guy's singing, thrusting his pelvis. Everybody's just dancing, having a good time. It is fantastic. And I don't know if that dude's figured it out yet, but he looks like the Dutch boy.
Yeah, Dutch boy. Yeah, that's a good one, too. That's probably better than my Depardieu reference. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I'm sure that video is rather jarring and entertaining until we come to find out what they were doing to their kids. That sort of puts a damper on it, I'd suggest.
Wedding video. I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah. All right, we'll let you do that in peace.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you stuck in a bad home mortgage? Well, join the club that has about 10 million other American families. But I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest legal analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, I guarantee you'll never be alone in this country.
The Chicago Symphony Orchestra returns to Wheaton College Friday, January 26th at 7:30 p.m. Manfred Honeck returns to lead the CSO in Mahler's epic Fifth Symphony and Mozart's Grand Piano Concerto No. 25 featuring Till Fellner. The Chicago Symphony Orchestra at Wheaton College Friday, January 26th. Tickets start at $45. For tickets, visit cso.org/Wheaton.
Are you putting your retirement savings in a 401k, IRA, or investment account? Then I have one word of advice. Stop. Experts warn of a stock market crash any day now, and you could lose 50% or more of your hard-earned savings again. But you don't have to lose a penny. There's a better, safer way to save for retirement, and you can learn about it in a free report. This method continues to grow your money even when the market tumbles. To get this free report, go to bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com. Bankonyourself.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Make it.
Oh.
Okay.
That's an Escape song. Oh,
you
that's
know what? That's rude
that's
because
dark humor.
I know, because now
Very
we're learning
dark.
that the 29-year-old that was being held hostage, she was so emaciated that sheriff's deputies thought that she was one of the kids. And it turns out she was 29 and she wasn't a teenager.
No.
But I see
she
you're still
said-
singing the
she
song
said,
while I'm
it's
telling
all
you this
right. Think
tale
we're
of-
gonna make it. That's what she told police. Oh no!
Do you want a one-way ticket to
started it.
HE double hockey sticks, Mr.
Yeah,
Croft?
exactly.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we have a great show. Cheryl Atkinson's going to be here, Joel Pollack, Victor David Hansen.
Or Victor Davis Hansen.
Victor
He'll be here
Davis.
as well, both of them. And we'll do more Christopher Cross. But coming up, how high are taxes in Oak Park? They're so high, the socialists are revolting. Hi-oh!
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
9 degrees above, cloudy skies, winds west at 10. Southern California couple will be facing charges of torture regarding their 13 children. Officers in Paris, California arrested the couple after their 17-year-old daughter told authorities she escaped from the family home Sunday. Riverside County Sheriff's officers found 12, ranging in age from 2 to 29. 2 of the senators at the center of talks on the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program are speaking out here in Chicago. Democrat Dick Durbin.
I know what happened. I stand behind every word that I said.
South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham called on the White House to push for an immigration fix, as there are dueling reports of what the president reportedly said in the Oval Office.
Mr. President, close the deal. 80% of Americans want to give the DACA kids a better life, and 80% of Americans want to secure our border and change a broken immigration system.
Now, with talks failing to make headway, Democrats could withhold their votes from any short-term spending deal. That means House Speaker Paul Ryan would have to wrangle his Republican majority to back any agreement. Former White House advisor Steve Bannon set to answer questions today from the House Intelligence Committee. Sentencing hearing today for former Michigan State University and USA Gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar. Nassar faces a minimum of 25 to 40 years in prison after pleading guilty last year to sexually assaulting young gymnasts. It's a big winter storm bringing snow, sleet, freezing rain, and shockingly cold temperatures to the south. We're watching for airport delays for you. For us, it's drivers dealing with a messy commute slowing things down. National Weather Service says snow showers will cross the area and bitter cold in the state's midsection, causing schools to close. Federal judge with a long history being tough on corrupt politicians will sentence former Lake County, Indiana Sheriff John Bunchich today to as much as 235 months behind federal bars. Bulls upend the Heat 119-111. While at the buzzer, Nebraska, a Big Ten basketball win over the Fighting Illini, 64-62. The news, a service of Rocket Mortgage by Quicken. Rocket Mortgage is simple, so you can understand the details and be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully. Mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states, equal housing lender, NMLS number 3030. 6:34 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager says vote on issues, not people.
Policies run countries, not personal kindness. Among my friends, I only want the kind and fine and good. For those who make my policy, I would prefer that they be all those things, but they don't mean a damn thing. Why is this not obvious to everybody?
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Ready for a bad cold and flu season? A cold is a cold, but flu brings fever. Be prepared with the Exogen Temporal Scanner Thermometer backed by medical professionals everywhere.
The war on depression is over.
You win.
Depression, with all the drugs and side effects, the endless counseling, the frustration with life and relationships.
The war is over. You win.
In a few short weeks, your life will change.
It's TMS therapy.
Over 1 million people have been treated, and the results are nothing short of outstanding. It's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield and Medicare.
Most drugs and other treatments just mask the depression.
TMS treats the cause, so you can win the war with your depression. Remission or cure.
Depression gone.
Get a free consultation at one of the HPR centers in Chicagoland and Wisconsin. Ask questions.
For you or someone you love, safe, revolutionary, effective treatment for depression.
Let depression recovery begin. HPR centers.
800-604-0208. 800-604-0208.
Go to endmydepression.com.
It is 6:36. Let's get an update on the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Some roads are snowy and slippery. We've got several crashes in the north and northwest suburbs, including one on 176 at 41 in Lake Bluff and at 83 and 22 in Long Grove. Eden's inbound, 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Kennedy, 27 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 26. The Eisenhower, 52 minutes. 390 to downtown. It's 39 from Manheim, outbound 37 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 43 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 20 minutes. 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 38 minutes. 8094 to the Ryan. Northbound Tri-State bottled up. Ogden to the Reagan Tollway, where the exit is blocked right now with a crash. Eastbound Adams Tollway jammed. Beverly to before Roselle. All lanes have reopened after a collision. Eastbound Reagan Tollway heavy, 59 to 53. Eastbound I-80 from Richards to 30. Traffic, service at Walgreens. Looking to save money on your Medicare Part D prescriptions? As a preferred pharmacy, Walgreens offers copays as low as $0 on Tier 1 generics on select plans. Switch your prescriptions and start saving today. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Mainly cloudy, cold. Snow and snow flurries throughout the morning into the midday. A high near 24. Clear and very cold overnight. Low of 7 above. 13 at O'Hare. 9 along the lakefront. 8 this morning at Midway. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Oak Park. It's hard not to laugh when you say Oak Park. I mean, this is the town that has designated itself a nuclear-free zone. There won't be any false ballistic missile alerts in Oak Park because you're not allowed to send missiles into Oak Park. They've got the sign right there, nuclear-free zone. So Kim Jong-un, you can't hit Oak Park. They got the sign. They passed a resolution.
So they actually spent tax dollars paying for a sign that says we're a nuclear-free zone?
This is how silly Oak Park is. Of course, it's a haven of, socialist and other
lady liberals and the whole
myriad.
I never liked going there when I had to be assigned a story.
You just get your myriad sentimentalists. But this is interesting. Even they aren't insulated from the reality of Illinois property taxation. A group called Oak Park Property Tax Watch has been established. It's first on Facebook. It's grown to about 650 members. They had a meeting late last week at the Oak Park Public Library where you can choose from Howard Zinn's History of America or the Mark Ingalls Reader. Those are the two books.
Oh, okay.
And
that's all they have in the whole place.
Yeah. Listen to what they're saying. Now, this admittedly is a group of, there's like at least one of the three Republicans in Oak Park is in this group, and then the rest are. I'm here because I think the single biggest threat to diversity in Oak Park is the tax situation, said one woman. It's to a point where I can't afford to live here anymore. One man noted since he moved to Oak Park about 10 years ago, his tax bill is up 54%, approaching $15,000 a year. I can afford to stay, he said. The question is whether I want to stay. I don't know if I can leave because I'm not sure if I can sell my house. Welcome to the party, socialists. This from a piece at oakpark.com.
Do you own that newspaper?
No.
Oh.
This is one of the local papers.
Oh.
The Oak Park Township assessor was there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, giving the usual kind of middling answers. I mean, to be fair, it's not really his fault. He's just an implementation tool of sorts. I've heard a lot of, this last year in particular, I've heard a lot of people expressing frustration about their ability to remain in Oak Park, so I understand why the group is so popular. Yeah, no kidding. And guess what? When the median tax bill, property tax bill in Oak Park is just a tick under $10,000, given the new federal tax reality, you're going to hear a lot more wailing in the coming year and years to come, as long as that's the law and as long as property taxes in Illinois continue to go up at a 45-degree angle, stealing people's home equity from them, because that's what's happening. But the question is, you see your tax bill, you pay it, although so many people pay it out of escrow.
Yeah, so you don't really realize the pinch. But check your mortgage statements that are coming to the house, because the last 3 months, my mortgage has changed 3 different times because of the taxes that were escrowed in.
Well, I think, by the way, looked into this.
Taxes went up.
If you had the right political leadership in Springfield, eliminate the ability to pay property taxes out of escrow. Make people write the check. Just so you feel
well, you
it.
feel it, right. People don't realize how many taxes are being taken out of their paycheck because we don't have that paper stub in front of our face that we used to have.
So the question is, by the way, this conversation happening in your community by chance? I know it is. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. What the oakpark.com story didn't get to, of course, was the why. The why. So we got to that in one of my papers, westcooknews.com. Here's the why you're being taxed out of your home and taxed out of the state, having your home equity destroyed, Illinois becoming a home equity desert. As we've said before, I can't impress it upon people enough. All you have to do is look at your property tax bill. The numbers are the numbers are the numbers. I don't know. People don't want to confront it. You've even got socialists in Oak Park starting at least down the path of enlightenment, which is encouraging.
I know, but they say that it's because of diversity. Because the high taxes is the biggest threat to diversity in Oak Park.
Well, they say it's a threat to diversity, but they don't understand why it's happening, or they're not communicating it. So here's the why.
Tell us why.
Yeah. The why is the 3 major local government entities serving Oak Park have more than doubled their spending over the past 40 years, adjusted for inflation, so in real dollars. In 1977, Oak Park, the village, Oak Park River Forest High School, and Oak Park Elementary School District 97 spent a collective $126 million. That's in 2017 dollars.
Wow.
Last year, they spent $309 million.
What?
It's 145%.
Free zone signs?
Right. 145% real increase in 40 years.
What did that get them? What did they buy?
They bought higher salaries for the people that work at the Village of Oak Park, the Oak Park River Forest High School, and Oak Park Elementary School District 97. That's what they bought. And by the way, you got to continue to spend to keep up with the times. Oh, okay. 145% increase across those 3 bodies, with, of course, the schools being the preponderance of the money. Oak Park's population over that same 40-year period declined 5%. So your population, the people these government units are serving, has declined 5%. The spending has increased 145%. You see the problem? I mean, really. I don't know why I'm getting exercised about Oak Park. This is, their socialist paradise. How's it working? Let's get specific about salaries. That's where the money goes.
Yeah, I want to know.
Believe it or, say this is a good thing or not a good thing, but at least be knowledgeable about the numbers so you can make informed decisions. So 145% increase across all three. Elementary School District 97, Oak Park. Increased 213%. Oak Park River Forest, 55%. Village of Oak Park actually has increased the most in terms of a percentage basis. 208% increase in spending the past 40 years. Real dollars. And understand something. If Oak Park local government spending grew only at the pace of inflation over the past 40 years, property taxes in Oak Park would be half of what they are now. This isn't about, you're trying to starve government and prevent the implementation of programs and services people need. No. If government grew at the rate of inflation, we've proposed this before. This has been actually used effectively by other states in the 90s to the first part of this century. Tabor laws. You cap government spending growth at no more than the combination of population growth plus inflation. Population's actually declined here, but even if I gave you the benefit of just giving you the spending growth at the rate of inflation, property taxes in Oak Park today would be half of what they are. Is that responsible? Is that a fair deal? Oak Park Elementary District 97 teachers earned $38,000 in 1977 in 2017 dollars, so do match to match. Today, the salaries, $75,000, doubled. District 200, the high school, $39,000 in 2017 dollars in 1977. Today, base salary, $101,000.
Wow.
150% increase. Among the highest in the area. District 200 Superintendent Jack Swanson, 1977, earned $158,000. The current school district superintendent, $225,000, 42% increase. Real dollars. So, the effective property tax rate as a percentage of home value in Oak Park is not even close to the worst in suburban Chicago. In Oak Park, the effective property tax rate for a median home is 2.81%, which is about 2.5 times the national average, and about 25% higher than the state average. But 2.81%, go to Lake County. Go to places like Grays Lake, 4.5%. Property tax rate as a percentage of home value. We've talked about it here. We've done the regional reports. It's remarkable, isn't it? So, the question is put to people again. You care about your home? Do you care about living where you want to live? Do you care about getting a return on investment on your home? If the answer is no, then fine. Can vote for everybody who's in office right now. From the top down. If you don't, maybe a light bulb should be switched on, like for some of these socialists in Oak Park, and you may want to change the trajectory of your community locally and this state generally. Jay in Highland, Indiana, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. It's a pleasure to be on with you again. I love nothing more on a regale and nothing more than watching the left destroy themselves by these poor, suffering Oak Park residents saying that the tax bracket is hard on diversity. Oh, my God. Please, just give me another gift. That shows how racist they are by their own definition. Because in that context, only white people can be rich. Am I right?
Well, right. Only, rich white liberals can afford to live in Oak Park. This just in. Yeah, exactly. Thanks for the call, Jay. By the way, a related story from the Washington Examiner. Have you seen this campaign? I don't use public transportation because,
Because it's the public.
Because I'm me. That's right. But apparently...
Too many germs, Dan?
People.
Oh, that's right, people.
Yeah.
Public part.
Governor Scott Walker, he's you wouldn't know what this looks like. He's a conservative reform governor of Wisconsin. You wouldn't know what that looks like in Illinois.
Not a phony?
He has launched $1 million Think, Make Happen campaign for Wisconsin. It's a marketing campaign. So you've got all these states trying to woo businesses from Illinois, of course, and effectively doing it, by the way. This is trying to woo millennials from Chicago. This is an advertising campaign at millennial workers in the Windy City. They've been placed in Chicago commuter trains, on platforms, on drink coasters, in downtown bars and restaurants, and in health clubs. Also using social media to target people 21 to 34 who live in and around Chicago who are Wisconsin college alumni who have left Wisconsin. They ads highlight the shorter commutes in Wisconsin. Other ads boast about lower housing prices and associated lower property taxes. Illinois, the brain drain, the future of the state. Illinois has lost as many as 37,000 millennials each year from 2011 through 2014. 148 millennials fleeing the state during that period of time, according to, and then in addition to that, according to a 2016 Paul Simon Public Policy Institute study, 57% of Illinois millennials want to leave the state. Wow. And of course, as you know, we lead the nation in college-bound high school seniors going to college in other states. So they go away to college. They're not coming back here for all the reasons we're describing. But I'll tell you what. Keep your local Democrat state rep right where he or she is so you can keep Madigan in charge.
And you could keep paying high property taxes.
Keep your local state senator, particularly you out in the suburbs, your local Dem state senator right where he or she is so you can keep John Cullerton in charge. Keep surrender Republicans who vote for tax increases, 15 of them, including 6 remaining incumbents in the House. Keep them right where they are so you can have them continue to surrender to Madigan and Cullerton, who you've kept in charge. And then keep the governor, Rauner, the same, another surrender Republican. Keep him in charge so you can have everybody work together to run this kleptocracy for their benefit and your detriment until you're forced out. If it's happening in Oak Park, it's happening everywhere. And it is.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Stock and bond markets reopening after the Martin Luther King holiday. Airbus outselling Boeing last year, and France wants tougher rules on Bitcoin. Those stories next.
Hi, it's Hugh Hewitt for ReaganPrivacy.com. Imagine a politician saying this today. I have wondered at times what the 10 Commandments would have looked like if Moses had run them through the U.S. Congress. That's a quote from Ronald Reagan. He showed us through his life, his faith, and with his words that Judeo-Christian values and principles matter. You can help spread the legacy of Ronald Reagan. You can do it by getting a Reagan email address. Right now, if you have a Gmail, AOL, Yahoo, or other big tech company email address, you help them market their service with every email you send. In return, they scan your emails and target you with unwanted advertising. Thanks to our sponsor, ReaganPrivacy.com, you can instead share the Reagan name with every email you send. And they won't scan your emails. They will leave you alone. Get an email address that you'll be proud to own at ReaganPrivacy.com. Your very own personal private email address is available to you at ReaganPrivacy.com. Go get your Reagan email address right now at ReaganPrivacy.com. That's ReaganPrivacy.com.
Markets reopening today following the Martin Luther King trading holiday. In the coming week, economic reports on housing starts, industrial production, and jobless claims. Airbus says it sold more than 1,100 aircraft last year, outselling Boeing. However, the European plane maker delivered fewer planes than Boeing. And Airbus says it might stop making its costly super jumbo aircraft. The double-decker A380 has struggled to generate enough demand. The French finance minister wants new regulations aimed at virtual currencies to stop them from being used for crime, including tax evasion and financing terrorism. Regulators worldwide taking a harder stance on Bitcoin and other currencies. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
We are so thrilled with this product. He was literally getting up, laying on the couch, and falling asleep. He's so alert. It's amazing. Totally amazing. This is a great product. His sodium levels have been low for, I would say, maybe close to 20 years. He's normal now. And this is the first time. And I can't even thank you enough.
The last thing I want to do is stop taking this. I definitely have lots more energy.
Have the confidence that you're giving your body what it needs. Call now to receive 35% off your first Balance of Nature order. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. A 75-year-old gropey, dopey plagiarist could win, but Oprah couldn't. A 76-year-old Trotskyite from Vermont with a wife under federal investigation for bank fraud could win, but Oprah couldn't. Viewed against Biden's shovel-ready ribbon cuttings and Bernie's renamed post offices, Oprah is clearly the most qualified candidate. To doubt Oprah's viability is to be oblivious to the era of puerile YouTube celebutants ushered in by their helicopter parent friends. As our electoral politics careens towards part reality show, part awards gala, Oprah could do to Dems in 2020 what Trump did to Republicans in 2016, turn them into seat fillers. Half the nation prove they care only about what a president says and how he says it. They didn't like Obama's policies, but they liked his pseudo-sophistication and Al Green impersonation. They don't like Trump's coarse rhetoric, but they like his policies and Alec Baldwin's impersonation. Such an electorate is a target-rich environment for a professional sentimentalist like Oprah. The false good of sentimentality from the false gods of celebrity is what the people want. As Oprah protege Dr. Phil might say, when you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-400-1902. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-400-1902. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-400-1902. 1-800-400-1902.
Get up and go. It's Apple Vacation's great winter event. Non-stop fun, adventure, sun-soaked beaches. Escape to your favorite tropical destination. It's all available now. Save hundreds. But hurry, the best hotels and prices won't last. 3 nights in Riviera Nayarit at Grand Palladium Vallarta Resort and Spa start from only $7.99. Or make it 7 nights at Rio Jalisco, starting from just $9.99. Both escapes include round-trip nonstop air, resort transfers, all meals, drinks, and taxes. Call Carry Travel Express at 847-639-3300 or visit carrytravelexpress.com to book your trip today. Prices per person based on double occupancy for select exclusive vacation flights from O'Hare to Puerto Vallarta on Frontier Airlines starting February 2nd and include taxes and fees including September 11th security fee. Some flights are operated by other airlines. Baggage charges apply. See applevacations.com. Prices subject to availability and change. Restrictions apply.
AM 560, The Answer.
Nice. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Soothing. Jeff Bezos donates $33 million for college scholarships to DACA recipients. Does that deserve a Presidential Medal of Freedom at 7:07?
And 7:37, Cheryl Atkinson will be here. But now let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, a winter weather advisory in Cook and Lake counties and bone-chilling cold for the center part of the state. Bulls hold off the heat. The Illini fall at the buzzer. And a cloudy and cold day ahead. WIND, Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Shot in the line of duty.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. 4 officers down in South Carolina wounded early this morning, and we don't know yet how badly hurt they are. Fox's Tanya J. Powers on the case live.
Well, Dave, they're all in the hospital right now. They had responded to a domestic violence call last night, then had to track down Christian Thomas McCall, who had run away on foot. Now, he was shot at the crossfire and is also in the hospital. Trent Ferris is with the York County Sheriff's Office.
We could really use your prayers, and we could really use your thoughts right now for those officers.
Now, 3 of the officers who were shot are York County Sheriff's deputies. The 4th is with the York County Police Department, Dave.
Tanya, Pope Francis begged for forgiveness today in Chile, expressing his pain and shame over a Catholic Church child sex scandal, admitting irreparable damage was done to children raped and molested by priests. The most notorious of those pedophiles was not removed from his ministry until 2011, despite complaints about him. A California couple is accused of torturing their children. David and Louise Turpin, each jailed on $9 million bail.
The Riverside County Sheriff's Department says Sunday a 17-year-old girl called 911 from a cell phone she said she had found at home and told the cops that she and her 12 siblings were being held against their will by their parents. When deputies arrived at the house, they found children and adults malnourished, shackled to their beds with chains and padlocks in what they called foul-smelling surroundings.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. One of the victims is 2 years old. 7 of them were adults as old as 29. President Trump is now calling Senator Durbin Dickie, tweeting he's the one who blew the DACA deal over Durbin's claim that the president derided Haiti and S-whole African countries in a meeting last week. The Democrat says,
I know what happened. I stand behind every word that I said in terms of that meeting.
Democrats are insisting DACA, a program to protect immigrants brought here illegally as kids, be included in his spending bill to fund the government beyond Friday, but they don't want to provide all the border wall funding the president demands. Fox News, fair and balanced.
9 above, cloudy skies. Wind chill of -8 at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Charges pending this morning following a deadly shooting over the weekend outside of a shopping mall in North Riverside. Police say Maria Ruiz and a 14-year-old girl were shot Saturday night in the parking lot at North Riverside Park Mall. Ruiz died at the hospital, while a teen is expected to survive. A person of interest has been taken into custody. Drivers dealing with a messy commute around Chicagoland, but in the central section of the state, schools are closing because it's cold. Wind chills in the minus numbers, canceling another day of school for kids in the central part of the state. 10 are without a home following a fire in Chicago's Logan Square neighborhood. The blaze breaking out last night inside of a building in the 3500 block of West Fullerton Avenue. Federal judge with a long history of being tough on corrupt politicians will sentence former Lake County, Indiana Sheriff John Bunchich. Later today, James Moody will look at a sentence as long as 235 months for the former sheriff. Bunchich's defense attorneys are pleading for no more than 60 months. 2 are in custody following an officer-involved shooting on Chicago's South Side. Police say officers exchanged a gunfire with someone near East 90th and South Ellis Avenue. 2 suspects were arrested. Democratic candidate for governor Chris Kennedy blasting Republican Jeannie Ives for what he calls her solution to Chicago's gun violence. Kennedy abruptly leaving a candidate forum in Chicago's West Loop after Ives said the city's gun crime problem could be partially solved if more fathers stayed in the home.
I lost my father to somebody with a gun, and for someone to say that the solution is simply to have a father along, I don't know how shall I react? What should my family have done?
The businessman called the comments stupid, adding that he didn't have a father through most of his life. Kennedy, of course, is the son of former U.S. Senator Robert F. Kennedy, who was assassinated in 1968. Bulls rookie Lauri Markkanen made history last night. You may not know this, but the young forward center knocked down his 100th three-pointer of the season yesterday during the Bulls' win over the Heat. He is the fastest player in NBA history to reach that milestone. Justin Holiday led the Bulls with 25 in that win. Nebraska, a buzzer-beating win over the Fighting Illini, 64-62 in Big Ten hoops. Elsewhere, Marquette pounded DePaul, 72-52. Oakland handled UIC, 78-68. The news service of Rocket Mortgage by Quicken. Rocket Mortgage is simple, so you can understand the details and be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states, equal housing lender, NMLS number 3030. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Ever had an obstructed view at a show or an event?
This is so amazing.
What's so amazing? I can't see around this concrete column. That's what it's like relying on checking your credit to protect you from identity theft. You get a limited view.
She looks beautiful.
Who looks beautiful? You might detect credit changes, but you can miss threats, like someone getting an online payday loan in your name or selling your personal information on the dark web.
Did you see that?
See what? The concrete? With LifeLock, you can see more. We use proprietary technology to detect a range of identity threats, and if you have a problem, a U.S.-based identity restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock can alert you to threats you could miss.
Told you this was worth seeing.
You are killing me. Memberships start at $9.99 a month plus applicable taxes. Now get 10% off. Go to lifelock.com and enter promo code NEWS. That's promo code NEWS. LifeLock. More detection, more protection.
Email and the internet have done some wonderful things for business owners. There's more information at your fingertips, making decision-making a lot easier. The downside for some is the lost advice and interaction of working side by side with someone who can help. If you're looking for a business accountant that provides one-on-one service, call our newest business benefactor, James Cardelis of Archer Tax and Accounting. For example, at a recent visit to a small client, Archer Tax saved the family at least $60,000 through deferred capital gain taxes, probably forever. That does not happen with a monthly email of a data file. 2018 will be a crazy year for sole proprietors and small businesses with the new tax laws. If you want an idea of how your business will be affected and how to capitalize on the new rules, Archer Tax is offering a free consultation to discuss your needs one-on-one. Call 708-633-9854. Again, 708-633-9854 or visit archertax.biz today. The website again, archertax.biz.
Ever since I was little, I imagined owning a bakery. With hard work, I made it happen. But after this weekend's robbery, I realized that I need to protect my dream with security.
I've got a great answer for you. Alarm Detection Systems, your local family-owned business, understands the threats you might face. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300 and find out how we can protect you. License number 127000143.
I'm worried that my employees are costing me a fortune every month in damaged or missing inventory. I'm not sure how to solve this problem or who to turn to.
Alarm Detection Systems installs video cameras that watch over your place of business, reduce loss, and increase profits with advanced security. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. That's adsalarm.com or 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
7:08 and a check of our morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Eden's delays start at Lake Avenue. It's 35 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. Kennedy, 43 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 23 from Montrose, 18 of the Express. Outbound 25 minutes to Montrose and 43 to O'Hare. Von Eisenhower, 55 minutes, 390 to downtown, 42 from Manheim. Outbound 39 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 38. Bryan is 26 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 28 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 48. North on Tri-State jammed. Ogden to the Eisenhower. There is a crash at Cermak in the right lane. Adams Tollway heavy. Beverly to Higgins. Reagan Tollway, it's slow from 31 to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial, 5463rd to the Reagan Tollway. Northwest Indiana looks great. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Occasional snow and flurries accumulating a coating to an inch. Storm total amount 4 to 8 inches. High today, 25. Turning out clear and cold tonight, low 8. Wind chill valleys as low as 0 to 10 below 0. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
Currently, we have 9 degrees above. Along Chicago's lakefront, it is 13 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I want to get to the case of the Me Too movement versus comedian and comedic actor Aziz Ansari, who I don't find funny, and his Master of None show is stupid. But
Okay, good
but
night, everybody.
But that doesn't mean he's guilty of anything. So we'll get to that.
No,
But-
that's true.
But I just want to. You had Mike Scott's newscast talk about Chris Kennedy
Yeah.
responding to Jeannie Ives' statement that one of the ways to combat violence in cities like Chicago is more fathers need to be in more homes. And then Chris Kennedy responded by saying that was ignorant and walking out. I didn't have a father in the home, and look at me.
Wow.
Here's an interesting
Does he
thing.
know where he was raised?
Here's an interesting thing, too. Sirhan Sirhan, who assassinated his father, Bobby Kennedy, had an abusive father who abandoned his family when they came to America. So Sirhan Sirhan didn't have...
A father figure, no.
Uh-huh. Just worth noting. And did we just do a story last week about a Dallas grade school that wanted to do a father's breakfast, and they needed...
They needed 50 volunteers and 200.
600 came
or
up.
600
Yeah.
showed up, yeah.
But because they all understood the importance of... I mean, this is not even in dispute anymore. Is it?
But for him to stomp off and walk out of the
Because
debate
he's a child and he's, pandering to the crazy left base. Even they don't believe that. What is he essentially saying is that dads don't matter. Do dads matter or not? That's my response.
I mean, apparently he felt victimized by her comment because his
Victimized?
dad was gunned down and he didn't have a dad growing up. But he had money and he had a loving, supportive family around him
come
at
on.
all times.
That's like J.B. Pritzker saying I was raised by a single mom. I mean, these guys... I mean, on the commercial, you've seen those commercials.
Was that before he eats the children or after?
I mean, these guys are so pathetic. They have to Horatio Algerize themselves into lives they didn't lead.
Well, but they feel guilty that they're rich. They do. I mean,
those two knuckleheads, scions of wealthy families, should feel guilty because they haven't done jack squat. Goofs. I mean, it's a simple question. Gosh, that would be such a great debate. You want to pander that way? Just answer this question. Do dads matter? Do dads matter? Margot and Burr Ridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, hi. They've done a study. They did an extensive study about children without fathers, comparing children whose fathers were deceased to children whose fathers left or were not in their lives but were alive and around somewhere. And there was no mental problem with the children whose fathers died. They understood that their father left not of his own accord. For the other children, they were very severely mentally scarred by the fact that their father didn't want to be around them. In fact, they took the blame. If there was a divorce, they take the blame on themselves for the bad marriage or the bad relationship or whatever. So Chris Kennedy's argument is kind of bogus.
Of course it is. Thanks for the call, Margot. Good point about the difference between dying and abandonment, choosing to abandon. Choosing not to accept responsibility. Those are different things, of course. Those nuances lost on Chris Kennedy and the modern Democrat Party, particularly in Chicago, where, of course, they're the worst example,
so
just as the
strange, though.
Illinois Republican Party is here.
I mean, they were having a debate and he just walked out.
No, because he's a
Got up
child.
and left.
He's a child. He's like wanted to. It was a show. I mean, he needs to get press to go up against Spalding's millions. It's not going to work, but. Okay, I just wanted to address that. I mean,
I know.
This idea
It's
that saying something that is manifestly obvious, that is, as Margot
everybody's talking about it.
Well, right, and that is backed up by study after study after study, in addition to just the common sense answer to the question, does a dad matter? And if you say no, then what about this? Would you matter to your kid? Do you think a man, I would, the left that has to take this absurdity to its absurd conclusion. If you want to say no to protect the silliness of the left's cultural Marxism and identity politics, then put the next question to that person. Do you matter to your son or daughter? Do you think you matter? What are you going to say? No? Okay. Oh, my
Sometimes
goodness.
I wonder if I matter.
Yeah, well, that's a different thing
No,
than
I
actually
know.
mattering.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
yes.
My boys love me. They just don't realize it.
I've
sometimes.
heard conflicting opinions on that, actually.
Stop it.
All right, so
Guys, we had a good run.
Yeah.
We're gonna pack
Hey.
it up. We got some boxes here.
we
Have
did
a good time.
Hey, we did 12, 13, 14 years.
Maybe we can have a drink over the holidays.
Yeah.
I mean,
You kind of run with the ball now. Right? Almost in high school.
changing the box.
All right, so the case of Aziz Ansari versus the Me Too movement. So this is that comedian you're probably familiar with. If you're not,
Well,
then
he just
you're
won a
not missing
Golden
much.
Globe.
Yeah, I know. That's
Well, I'm just saying he's been recently a celebrated
Yes.
comedian, celebrated actor, and then
He meets this girl at a party. They exchange numbers. They
he's 23 years old. Yeah.
22 at the time. He's about a decade older. Whatever. It's no big deal.
She's of legal age. Okay.
Then they go out to dinner.
Oh, we're gonna do the play-by-play. And what did they order, Dan?
And then they go back to she actually had a picture she posted, the unnamed, that she's being referred to as Grace.
Because she gave an interview to the Babe publication and spoke to them, anonymously.
Yeah. So they go to dinner and then they go back to his place and then he starts kissing her and then it escalates and how did she say it?
Well, they didn't have sex.
Well, take it easy, Bill Clinton. Yeah,
Don't you?
Hopefully you
don't
can read
go
between the
there.
lines on that.
Yes.
Here's how she described it.
So there was heavy petting?
Here's how she described it.
I hate that word.
It was really quick. Everything was pretty much touched and done within 10 minutes of hooking up, except for actual sex, like intercourse.
Okay.
That's how she describes it. But then after the date, she says she was giving off physical cues that this was going too fast and she didn't want to do things that he wanted her to do. She didn't say no. She did those things. And then she's texted him after the fact that last night might have been fun for you, but it wasn't for me. You ignored clear nonverbal cues. You kept going with advances. I want to make sure you're aware so that maybe the next girl doesn't have to cry on the ride home. Ansari responded to her text, I'm sad to hear this. Clearly I misread things in the moment, and I'm truly sorry.
Yeah.
And this
That's
has
a nice,
him
appropriate response.
This has him in the crosshairs.
Well, she could be ruining his career. And I agree 100% with Ashley Banfield on Headline News, who said, you had a bad date. Your date got overly amorous. After protesting his moves, you didn't get up and leave. You continued to engage in the sexual encounters. By your own clear description, this was not a rape nor a sexual assault. And she had a bad date.
There's no question about that.
What was it? She didn't go to the police.
No, there's this wouldn't. I mean, there's no question that there's nothing that even is close to criminal here.
Right, but this bad date could potentially end his career.
Well, I don't care about his career because
it's all of them.
rather
Well, you should
insufferable. But I mean,
about
I don't
men
care
in
about
general who get
Yes,
accused of
right.
if you have a bad date, next thing you know, wait, what did I do to her? No, I didn't do that to her. What is she alleging?
Well, the modern feminist movement. This is where the Me Too thing metastasizes from something good into something bad. I mean, you have not to be graphic, but you have feminists saying that masturbation is telepathic rape.
Oh, okay, ladies, stop, please. For the love of all that's holy, take off the pea hat and stop making comments like that.
I'm just telling you.
Well, this chick, I mean, she's chiseled away at the Me Too movement. Really?
Well,
and
I don't know. So I'm get a woman's perspective here. You read the account.
I'm transitioning, Dan.
You read the account that she gave. She's giving these physical cues that she's a bit resistant.
But yet she's participating.
But then she participates. So and then I'm not disputing her story. Then she cries on the way home. She texts him what she texts him that she didn't have a good time, and he says you misread. I mean, is that
his response was perfect? I mean, that's a gentleman, right there. What his response was, and since she's brought this up and given this interview to Babe magazine, whatever that is, He said that he has dealt with it. He is sorry. He said, I thought the activities that night were completely consensual. I'm taking her words to heart, and I've responded privately to the woman.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're fine with that. You don't see anything wrong with anything he did.
I see nothing inappropriate at what they did.
Heather McDonald takes up this in recent piece in City Journal. Heather McDonald, of course, author of War on Cops. She talks about the New York Times now having a gender editor and a gender team to infuse more feminist sensibility throughout the New York Times.
Oh, please.
Good luck trying that. I'd be impressed if they could actually accomplish that. Jessica Bennett, the gender editor, New York Times, penned an op-ed that talks about...
Gender editor?
Yeah, gender editor. She had unforced sex with a 30-year-old acquaintance when she was 19 because saying yes was easier than saying no. She allowed the encounter to proceed out of, quote, some combination of fear that I wasn't as mature as he thought, shame that I had let this get this far, and guilt, what I hurt his feelings. Of course, Bennett attributes her passivity and embarrassment to the dangerously outdated gender norms of the patriarchy. So this is sort of analogous to the woman in the Ansari case, that she's essentially, I felt fear, I felt guilt, I felt shame, so I felt bad about the encounter. Does that mean that the guy did anything wrong? I know this is complicated, but, especially for those of you that are dating, it's a minefield out there.
Well, you got to be careful. I feel sorry for you guys, honestly. Better watch yourselves. You're all on notice. That's the thing. Now this is the new normal.
Jeff in Arlington Heights.
Hi, Dan, Amy. I just wanted to say that, if Amy had behaved this way in the Ramada Inn in Tucson, Arizona, Edward James Olmos might never become the great Lieutenant Castillo on Miami Vice.
It's true. It's a good point, Jeff. Boy, thanks. That's really gives us pause for reflection.
Well, at least when I said no, he's like, okay, and then I left. And I didn't cry on the way home. I was laughing my face off.
Was that before Miami Vice, or was it between Miami Vice and Battlestar Galactica?
I'm blushing.
Or was it?
Is it hot in here? Am I going through the change?
Was it between? Was it before or after Lean on Me?
It was after Lean on Me.
Oh boy, so he was established.
Oh no, he was. He was kind of a
big deal, no question.
Well, we went out to dinner, and then he invited me back to the Ramada Inn in South Tucson.
What a smooth operator he is. That was after Lean on Me, and he could only stay at the Ramada Inn?
I don't know. He's at a gang summit. I don't know.
I'll tell you, that's the good news for you. You know what that means? What? He's a saver. Saving that money he's making. That's good news. Stephen
and he tried to get a free dinner, too. When they came to our table with the bill, he wasn't happy. He goes, I'm Edward James Olmos. I mean, you're really going to make me pay this? And he said, I've been taking pictures with people and signing autographs.
Oh, I don't like that.
Well,
that's one of my turnoffs.
Oh, you would have said no right there.
We're done. EJO. Steve in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah. Hey, Dan and Amy, I think you guys have to lead the charge and ban that song, Baby It's Cold Outside, because that's clearly, a Me Too movement would say, hey, you can't woo a woman that way. She clearly didn't want to stay. And I think that the next step in this Me Too movement is going to be every time a woman doesn't get her way on a date or something, i.e. the guy didn't call me the next day or a sorority girl doing the walk of shame, it's going to be a Me Too movement ringing anthem.
Yes. Thanks for the call, Steve. It's all part of the patriarchy. Mark in Plainfield.
Yeah, good morning, Dan and Amy. Whatever happened to the days where if you put a move on a chick and she didn't like it, she'd simply slap you in the face?
You're very familiar with that, aren't you, Mark? Yes.
Hey, Dan, I'm sure you could relate.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, if I had a nickel, Mark, thank you for the call. Mike on 355.
I'm listening to this story, and I'm thinking in our society, we have a choice, every one of us, when we get into a situation where our principles are being compromised. We either have to stick to our principles and our virtue or our ideals, or we listen to our feelings. And I was listening to that lady, and she had a choice between doing the right thing for her, protecting herself and her virtue, or listening to her feelings. And our society, we've moved away from what's the right thing to do and principles and standing firm. And, you know, I mean, this lady is on a date with a guy and, you know, going there right away for something that, you know, when we go to church, they have different ideas about what we should be doing. And so, you know, it's sad, but I think it's pretty clear, you know, our feelings will lead us astray. We got to stick to our principles.
Thanks, Michael.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. Who would win a 3-mile bicycle race, an 11-year-old girl or last year's winner of the Tour de France? It all depends on the bicycle. It depends on their vehicle. Both on a 10-speed and the pro racer is going to win every time. But put the racer on a tricycle and the 11-year-old wins every time. You see, it's not the driver, it's the vehicle. When it comes to generating revenue, it's exactly the same. If you have a job or a small business, you are riding a tricycle. You can only go so fast. If you need to make up lost ground, it's not going to happen on a tricycle. No matter how fast you pedal, it's simply not going to win the race. Why do many people with no schooling and no advanced degree often become very wealthy? Simple. They choose to only ride 10 speeds. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss when it comes to putting people on a 10-speed. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because of my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
Ever had an obstructed view at a show or an event?
This is so amazing.
What's so amazing? I can't see around this concrete column. That's what it's like relying on checking your credit to protect you from identity theft. You get a limited view.
She looks beautiful.
Who looks beautiful? You might detect credit changes, but you can miss threats, like someone getting an online payday loan in your name or selling your personal information on the dark web.
Did you see that?
See what? The concrete? With LifeLock, you can see more. We use proprietary technology to detect a range of identity threats, and if you have a problem, a U.S.-based identity restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock can alert you to threats you could miss.
Told you this was worth the seeing.
You are killing me. Memberships start at $9.99 a month plus applicable taxes. Now get 10% off. Go to lifelock.com and enter promo code NEWS. That's promo code NEWS. LifeLock. More detection, more protection.
AM 560. The Answer.
A couple more calls on the Ansari case. Quickly, Todd in Lake Geneva has an idea. Hey, Todd.
How you doing, Dan and Amy? Love your show.
Thank you.
Listen to it every morning. Yeah, I'm looking at stocks to buy in the sex bot industry because that's what men are going to be turning to. with all this crap going on, and I see it.
Thanks for the call, Todd. Maybe women,
What are you
too.
gonna name her?
What about women?
I'd like a robotic man, and I could tell him what to do, and I don't get any pushback. Help
you
me
go.
do this. Go
What
shovel.
about
Go make the bed.
You better be careful
Go walk
about
the dog.
Be careful about machine learning. They have like these AI bots now that have like algorithms where they problem solve and they learn.
Oh.
And then they take over the house.
Uh-oh.
And then you're out.
Again?
It happens that fast.
Had a good run.
Hans in Maryville, Missouri.
Hey, guys. On this I'm sorry thing, the woman said she was giving off nonverbal cues. She was naked. I mean, am I missing something here?
Yeah,
Being
but
naked is telling the guy one thing, right?
But she wasn't happy about it, Hans. Thanks for the call. I take your
Still
point.
engaged, and that's a problem. She had a bad date, okay? That's it. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk about Cheryl. We're going to talk to Cheryl Atkinson, great investigative reporter, about the Dems' effort to resuscitate and refurbish and rehab the Trump dossier. That's at 7:37.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
9 degrees in Chicago, wind chill of 8 below, and we're watching 2 developing stories this morning. One in South Carolina, where 4 law enforcement officers are hospitalized and is the man accused of shooting them. It happened before dawn in York near the North Carolina state line. 4 are dead in an early morning house fire in Rose Township, Michigan, that is north and west of Detroit. Michigan State Police report they received calls early this morning and rolled up on a home fully engulfed in flames. If Democrat and Republican lawmakers can't reach an immigration deal before a budget deadline in a few days, it may be up to House Speaker Paul Ryan to try and keep the government from shutting down. Congress has had difficulty finding solutions to the DACA situation and a deal to keep the government running through the next several months of the year. 2 California parents are under arrest on torture charges over accusations they held 13 children captive. Former White House advisor Steve Bannon will appear before the House Intelligence Committee today as part of its Russian meddling investigation. Concern growing over the effects of flu medication after a 6-year-old Texas girl began hallucinating and tried to jump out of a window. Her family says the girl was seeing things that weren't there and acting abnormally after taking Tamiflu. Hallucinations and delusions are noted but rare side effects of Tamiflu. The FDA says children and teens with the flu may be at higher risk. The U.S. oil industry will break a record that stood for nearly a half century. Oil production poised to pass 10 million barrels a day, breaking a record set in 1970. Charges are pending following a deadly shooting over the weekend outside of a shopping mall in North Riverside. A federal judge with a history being tough on corrupt politicians is expected to hand up a sentence to former Lake County, Indiana Sheriff John Bunchich. Later today, U.S. attorneys are arguing for 235 months behind bars. Bunchich's defense attorneys are asking for 60. Chicago Police Department continues to hire mostly white recruits, despite efforts to make the force more reflective of the city's population. The Sun-Times is reporting that just over 1,300 officers have been hired since 2016. 14% of those hires were African American, 36% Hispanic, 41% were white. Bulls over the Heat last night, 119-111. A buzzer-beating win in Big Ten hoops for Nebraska over the Fighting Illini, 64-62. The news service of Staples. Staples has great prices on everything you need to print. Now get up to $120 off select HP OfficeJet Pro printers as HP celebrates 30 years of helping small business succeed. Ends 120. Restrictions may apply. See Staples.com for details. Staples, it's pro time. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Message and data rates may apply.
Guys, this may be the last time you ever have to think about hair loss. Because I'm telling you, Bosley is the real deal. They're giving men their hair back permanently. Their real hair. All it takes to get started on the hair gain train is a single text message. We'll send you a link with direct access to a special website that unlocks an incredible offer. An absolutely free information kit and a free gift card. Simply text STRONG to 85850. Bosley will show you for free how great your hair could look. Dude, this isn't your dad's hair loss treatment. People all over the country trust Bosley because they're America's #1 hair restoration expert, ahead of the curve with the latest technology. And the best part, Bosley's solution is permanent. Drop what you're doing, get direct access to a special site for your free information kit and gift card for $250 off by texting STRONG to 85850. That's STRONG to 85850.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Amanda Zanger, owner of Black Industrial and Safety Supply in Hammond, Indiana, and a business customer of Signature Bank. Prior to owning my own business, I worked for a major financial institution. So when it came time to finance the acquisition of Black, I approached a big bank, only to receive a solid no. That's when Signature Bank stepped in. With Signature Bank, the process was different. Signature provided creative financing options that enabled me to purchase Black and continue to grow the business. Thanks to Signature Bank, Black Industrial is able to continue serving Fortune 500 industry fabricators and contractors with tools and safety supplies as we have since 1893.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It is 7:36. Let's get an update on the morning roads. Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center time. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Kennedy delays start at Cumberland now. It is an hour and 20 minutes from O'Hare to downtown, 48 minutes from Montrose, 38 to the Express, outbound 51 to the airport, Edens 23 minutes, Lake Cook Junction, outbound 26. The Eisenhower, an hour and 18 minutes, 390 to downtown, and 53 minutes from Manheim, outbound 50 to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38 minutes. Ryan, 26 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State delays extend from Cicero up to the Eisenhower. A couple of crashes in the mix. Adams Tollway eastbound, slow Beverly to Higgins. Reagan Tollway from 31 all the way to the Tri-State. The Veterans Memorial from before 63rd to the Reagan Tollway. Traffic is the service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% on every purchase every day when you use your Lowe's Business Credit Account. It's 5% on all purchases in-store or online. Subject to credit approval, U.S. only. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. They have 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Cloudy, cold, snow and flurries. High 24. Clear and very cold overnight, low of 7. It's 14 at O'Hare. It is 12 along Chicago's lakefront. It is 4 above in Lansing. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. It's interesting, the unfortunate, untimely passing of Dolores O'Riordan from the Cranberries. You're hearing her lovely, kind of haunting voice. Dolores O'Riordan, this probably won't get picked up by too many in the D.C. press corps, much less the music industry. Dolores O'Riordan on the issue of abortion. No, she was Irish.
Yeah.
It's not good for women to go through the procedure and have something living sucked out of your bodies. It belittles women. Even though some women say, oh, I don't mind to have one. Every time a woman has an abortion, it just crushes her self-esteem smaller and smaller and smaller.
Wow.
Dolores O'Riordan.
Dead at the age of 46, recently diagnosed or came out and admitted she was bipolar, always had chronic back pain, and she died in a recording studio in London.
Very sad. Very sad.
She has 3 kids that she leaves behind, and she's too young.
Exactly. Must make you think about your own mortality. Not me.
Of course it does.
So one other thing too, I got to correct. I'm having a poor day, and I apologize. First of all, I misidentified Cobra Kai as Cobra Khan from Karate Kid earlier in the show, and now, and this is on you too, because you were in a serious, committed relationship with him, Edward James Olmos.
I was not. I went out to dinner with him.
I said the Jaime Escalante movie was Lean on Me, which of course was the Morgan Freeman, Principal Joe Clark movie.
Oh.
Stand and Deliver was the Jaime Escalante story.
Oh, yeah.
So I apologize, and, the fact that you didn't catch it, that doesn't speak well of your time with Edward James Olmos. You really should know his full oeuvre if you're going to be in a relationship with him.
It was just dinner, Dan.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Moving on to serious topics. Interesting op-ed in the Wall Street Journal yesterday from Bill McGurn. He interviewed a friend of the show, James Kallstrom, former deputy director of the FBI. We've had him on the show many times. Oh, yeah. And the title of the piece, Wanted, an Honest FBI. Kallstrom basically says the FBI is in danger of losing the trust of the American people on which it relies. He points to a couple of decisions that were seminal over the last year, among many that he disagrees with, doesn't recognize in terms of the FBI in which he worked. Obviously the Comey exoneration of Hillary was one problem. He also points out a more recent one with the new director, Christopher Wray. During his own recent testimony before Congress, Mr. Wray stonewalled and suggested ridiculously that he couldn't let Congress see classified material. That's McGurn writing. And this is Kallstrom responding, saying they, the FBI, act like they work for someone from outer space rather than the President of the United States. For more on this topic and a couple of others, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend Sharyl Attkisson, who is, again, celebrated investigative reporter, author of The Smear, How Shady Political Operatives and Fake News Control What You See, What You Think, and How You Vote. Sharyl, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So what about the standing of the FBI and, to some extent, Department of Justice, not from a partisan perspective, but just on the merits of these officials that are acting in ways that officials in their position have heretofore never acted, as well as the exposure of so many obvious conflicts of interest among people in leadership positions in both of those agencies?
Well, we do have unique circumstances, to be sure, but I'm not sure officials have never before acted this way. I kind of assumed that, we knew about J. Edgar Hoover. Do you really think that ever stopped, that at some point all files that he was keeping and all the dirt he had on people was somehow purged or burned or turned over or stopped? Or do you think to some degree that maybe has always been the case and has always continued? I suspect the latter.
Yeah,
and I also think that, there are some important officials who, if you ask the Inspector General for the Department of Justice, are under investigation for what appears to be possibly inappropriate and unethical behavior. And I wrote about this a few weeks ago because that investigation has gotten really very little attention and yet has netted more beef, if you will, than the investigation into Trump administration Russia collusion.
But then when you see one of the FBI agents who's in charge of, the line of questioning geared toward Hillary Clinton, and he clearly has a bias against President Trump, don't you think that affects his judgment and, disintegrates the trust of the American people with the FBI?
Short answer, yes. I think that blatant sort of commentary, certainly everybody has their opinions, and you can't expect that investigators won't like or dislike certain political figures. But for people who are actually on a political investigation that is supposed to be neutral and that was actually forged so that it could be neutral, for them to have such strong opinions and express them so freely and openly without fear of, being discovered or anybody thinking that was a bad thing, I think indicates there are perhaps some deep-seated problems inside those investigative bodies.
Yeah, it seems to me that maybe is the difference. Maybe some of the behavior is similar, but it was done more surreptitiously previously, J. Edgar Hoover, because there was a recognition that it was wrong. so much of what is being done and said is for public consumption, because it seems like there's a certain belief that they're, insulated from any accountability. They don't answer to anybody except themselves.
I think that's true. I think that there is a powerful bureaucracy that persists from administration to administration inside our intelligence agencies. And I'm concerned that they've developed a power structure that is more persistent and pervasive than any single political party or administration. Excuse me. And while you might consider that a positive thing in some respects, if it weren't so hugely political, because you really don't want them to change from administration to administration based on political whims. In this case, perhaps it's something to be very concerned about, that there may be bad actors among our fine intelligence officers who consider themselves, beyond the normal laws, who may be willing to do the bidding of political operatives or use intelligence tools at their disposal for political purposes, which I think there's pretty clear evidence that may have happened as well.
You tweeted last week, as the House took up FISA reauthorization, and Rand Paul expressed some concerns and the possibility that he would filibuster the authorization in current form if there were not more protections in Section 702. Your tweet went viral because it was such a succinct summary of what the government has said versus what they've done. I'll let you kind of recast your own words in terms of your concerns about those intelligence agencies of which you were speaking.
Well, I don't have that in front of me, but I said something like, I don't know if people know the history, that we were never supposed to be surveilled by our own intelligence agencies here in America. That was always considered, totally unconstitutional and something that should never happen. After 9/11, we made provisions to allow that. Actually, some of that had become before 9/11. So at first they weren't supposed to surveil us, but they did. Then they promised they wouldn't contain the information, keep it if it was collected on Americans, and then they made a provision where they do. Then they promised that it would never be searched through. The database of Americans could not be accessed and looked through by, for other reasons, but it is. And then they promised it would never be unmasked, that the Americans' names would not be known even within the intelligence agency, but they are. And, of course, none of this is supposed to be leaked, but it has been. So if you just look at the slippage of, what's supposed to be and where we are today, it's pretty shocking. When you talk about this new authorization Congress is about to give for this authority to continue, which I think is very important that they have it, but obviously it needs more oversight. And I'm kind of shocked that members of Congress who themselves have been spied on, we know this for a fact by our intel agencies inappropriately, that they are not going to put more oversight on this or try to fix the problems or make the extension very temporary until these investigations are over is shocking to me. And I wrote an article in The Hill that completely, I think, destroyed the FBI Director Christopher Wray's claim to Congress, which I believe is false, that there has been no 702, that's the name of the provision under the Act. There has been no 702 abuse. I went down the list of all the 702 abuses that have been categorized by the FISA court and in public documents that we know about. So I don't know why he was saying that, but that's been oft repeated since then. Even members of Congress have said, oh, this is a provision where there's no controversy dealing with foreign collection. No, this is the provision that is controversial, 702, where they have used foreign collection rules to collect evidence on Americans and members of Congress and journalists and others that they should never have done.
Is there a concrete example you could give us of something that was on the list?
Yeah. In 2016, just January 2016, the Inspector General for the NSA issued a top secret report criticizing the NSA for not having proper processes in place to protect Americans. He gave instances of non-compliance, that documentation was lacking. This went to the FISA secret court, which said the problem was widespread under all periods under review. A couple other quick ones. The FISA court in 2015 criticized the NSA practice of collecting intelligence the way they were using it, said that it likely netted information on U.S. citizens with no foreign intelligence value. And also at another hearing, the FISA judge accused the NSA of an institutional lack of candor surrounding that 702 provision and stated this is a very serious Fourth Amendment issue and that he really just hammered the federal government in this hearing. So to say there's been no suspected abuses of 702 is just, I think, maybe a propaganda campaign, because if they just keep saying it, we'll all just go, okay, we'll renew it.
Well, and this a couple of years after Director of National Intelligence James Clapper lied to us. I mean, it's remarkable. I mean, that you just continue to get the same, as you said, propaganda at best, and Congress continues to gobble it up.
Yes, James Clapper falsely testified to Congress when asked by Senator Ron Wyden, who knew the answer from classified information. Is there data being collected on tens of millions of Americans? And Clapper said no. And, you look at the hearing when this was asked, and Wyden kind of shook his head and re-asked the question, and Clapper just said, not wittingly, well, that was completely false. And, I've done stories about data being collected through the telecom agencies, asking for and sometimes forcing their cooperation, but also paying these telecom agencies hundreds of millions of dollars in federal tax money for contracts to do this. This has been going on since pre-9/11, and in ways that people really have no clue.
I wanted to get your take as well on the dossier story, the Trump dossier story. Kim Strassel, writing the Wall Street Journal, suggests no such thing as a coincidence in Washington. So the sudden, furious effort by Democrats and the media to provide cover to the Steele dossier, the release of Glenn Simpson's testimony last week by Senator Feinstein, this is this coincides with congressional investigators finally being given access to FBI records about the Trump-Russia probe. She intimates maybe there's a real concern that their narrative about Russian collusion is about to run into the reality of the documentation that Congress is finally getting. Do you have any particular perspective on that and the timing of it?
Well, just based on experience, I think what you said and what she wrote is accurate. None of this is, by chance. And Senator Feinstein would not normally be someone who would leak something like that. So I think she was convinced to do so because there is a sense of concern among those who have pushed that narrative that it certainly hasn't delivered to date. And quite frankly, I think if Congress weren't doing its own investigation and perhaps the Inspector General, we might not know about any of this. I don't know what the main investigation with the special counsel is covering, but I suspect it might not be covering these things. And, I do think that narrative has fallen apart over the past year based on what we know publicly. It just hasn't delivered, and that's why I feel like we're seeing sort of counter-narratives and then moving on to other narratives as well, because this is something that, they were kind of hanging their hat on as a distraction at the time, and maybe it's something that they hoped could be something that makes us look in the other direction should the Trump administration actually see what some of the intel agencies were doing over the past couple of years politically.
She is Sharyl Attkisson, investigative journalist, author of the new book, The Smear, How Shady Political Operatives and Fake News Control What You See, What You Think, and How You Vote. Sharyl, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Email and the internet have done some wonderful things for business owners. There's more information at your fingertips, making decision-making a lot easier. The downside for some is the lost advice and interaction of working side by side with someone who can help. If you're looking for a business accountant that provides one-on-one service, call our newest business benefactor, James Cardelis of Archer Tax and Accounting. For example, at a recent visit to a small client, Archer Tax saved the family at least $60,000 through deferred capital gain taxes, probably forever. That does not happen with a monthly email of a data file. 2018 will be a crazy year for sole proprietors and small businesses with the new tax laws. If you want an idea of how your business will be affected and how to capitalize on the new rules, Archer Tax is offering a free consultation to discuss your needs one-on-one. Call 708-633-9854. Again, 708-633-9854, or visit archertax.biz today. The website again, archertax.biz.
No more excuses, gentlemen. It's New Year. It's time to do the things you've been putting off, especially when it comes to taking care of your health.
We have breaking relationship news.
Okay.
It's official. Danica Patrick is dating Aaron Rodgers. Their name is Roderick.
I don't know about that.
I'm pulling for those kids. I think that's a great couple.
You like it?
Oh, I love it. Continue with your live read, sir.
I think you could do better.
Oh, please. Oh, Stop it.
I personally recommend Aaron Rodgers and everybody else visiting my friends at Low T Center. That's where I got my levels tested. They make it quick and easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you get your results in about 20 minutes. At Low T Center, their physicians exclusively diagnose and treat men with low T. If you do have low T, it can make you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol levels, cause weight gain, and cause you to lose muscle mass. If this is something you've been experiencing, you should go get your testosterone levels checked. Guys, take the first step this new year. Contact my friends at Low T Center, now with the location in downtown Chicago, on the Mag Mile at 625 North Michigan Avenue. Call 312-239-3427. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's me. That number again, 312-239-3427. Call 312-239-3427 now, or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
We love the product. I think we've been on it for, 12 years now, or pretty close, and we believe in it, and we're going to continue taking it.
I have a $1,200 knee brace because I have bone on bone in my left knee, and I have a torn cartilage in my right knee. And since I've been taking Balance of Nature, I don't wear my brace, and I can walk without pain. It's I have these copper things I used to put on my knees. I don't use those either. I don't use anything. I think it's just wonderful.
Have the confidence that you're giving your body what it needs. Call now to receive 35% off your first Balance of Nature order. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGDirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-400-1902. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-400-1902. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-400-1902. 1-800-400-1902.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. A 75-year-old gropey, dopey plagiarist could win, but Oprah couldn't. A 76-year-old Trotskyite from Vermont with a wife under federal investigation for bank fraud could win, but Oprah couldn't. Viewed against Biden's shovel-ready ribbon cuttings and Bernie's renamed post offices, Oprah is clearly the most qualified candidate. To doubt Oprah's viability is to be oblivious to the era of puerile YouTube celebutants ushered in by their helicopter parent friends. As our electoral politics careens towards part reality show, part awards gala, Oprah could do to Dems in 2020 what Trump did to Republicans in 2016, turn them into seat fillers. Half the nation prove they care only about what a president says and how he says it. They didn't like Obama's policies, but they liked his pseudo-sophistication and Al Green impersonation. They don't like Trump's coarse rhetoric, but they like his policies and Alec Baldwin's impersonation. Such an electorate is a target-rich environment for a professional sentimentalist like Oprah. The false good of sentimentality from the false gods of celebrity is what the people want. As Oprah protege Dr. Phil might say, when you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences. Risk mitigation is an important consideration that smart companies pay attention to in today's complicated business climate. Some of the greatest risks occur when your company hires new employees or when you execute new business financial relationships. When your company hires, leases, or conducts financial transactions, decisions are critical. That's why veteran-owned and operated Global Verification Network is a company you should know. Startups to Fortune 100s trust Global Verification Network, and so should you. They're a background screening and investigative services company dedicated to expert, timely, and affordable background screening services for employment, tenant screening, and business due diligence. Global Verification Network is headquartered in Chicagoland, a federally recognized veteran-owned small business, and never offshores data like many competitors. To request your company's risk analysis without obligation or cost, visit globalverificationnetwork.com or call 877-695-1179. Or visit them online at globalverificationnetwork.com. Global Verification Network, the risk mitigation experts, 877-695-1179.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
He described a Trump campaign meeting with Russians as treasonous. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Now Steve Bannon is going to be asked about that behind closed doors on Capitol Hill this hour. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, this is Steve Bannon's first appearance on the Hill since the former White House chief strategist was ousted from Breitbart following his comments in the Fire and Fury tell-all book. A source on the House Intelligence Committee told Fox News Bannon will likely be asked about his comments in the book and whether he has any information about the 2016 meeting with a Russian lawyer in Trump Tower. The testimony will take place behind closed doors. Former Trump campaign manager Corey Lewandowski also expected to go before the committee this week. Dave.
Rachel, the clock is ticking in Congress to pass a spending bill by Friday to avoid a government shutdown.
We hope that the Democrats will not hold American military hostage, will not hold the funding of our government hostage.
White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders wants a budget separate from the DACA negotiations. Democrats do not. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer had this message for the president on the CBS Late Show.
You want to just begin that long road back to proving you're not a racist, you're not bigoted. Support the bipartisan compromise.
The president says that doesn't go far enough, providing border wall funding while also protecting immigrants brought here illegally as kids. We still don't know how badly injured 4 law enforcement officers are after they were shot early this morning in South Carolina while hunting a suspect who fled a domestic dispute. One officer was shot at 1 a.m., the others shot 2 hours later. That suspect was also shot and wounded. A California couple's in jail accused of torturing and endangering their 13 children. Some found shackled to beds in a smelly, dirty home. This neighbor in Paris says,
I always had a suspicion because that house never looked like there was a lot of action in front of it.
One of the kids is 2 years old. 7 of them are adults, as old as 29. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
13 degrees, light snow showers, winds west-northwest at 10, giving us a morning wind chill of 4 below zero. 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. Charges pending following a deadly shooting over the weekend. It happened outside of a shopping mall in North Riverside, where Maria Ruiz was shot along with a 14-year-old girl. Ruiz died at a nearby hospital. A person of interest is in custody. 10 are without a home following a blaze in Chicago's Logan Square neighborhood. Fire broke out last night inside of a building in the 3500 block of West Fullerton. 2 are in custody following an officer-involved shooting on Chicago's South Side. Officers exchanged gunfire with someone yesterday near East 90th and South Ellis. An investigation continues after an employee was shot during a robbery over the weekend at a Family Dollar store in Lansing. Police say the 3 suspects entered the store on Burnham Avenue Sunday night. One of the suspects shooting a clerk before all 3 took off with an undisclosed amount of money. Illinois will likely have a new piece of its justice system in place by the end of this day. Governor Rauner is due in Lincoln this morning. Likely will sign a new law creating a director of the Women's Division at the Illinois Department of Corrections. Justin Holiday, 25. Bulls beat the Heat 119-111 in Chicago. Nebraska buzzer-beating win over the Fighting Illini in Lincoln last night, 64-62. The Illini now 0-6 in Big Ten play. Last night in the Big East, Marquette beat DePaul 70-52. The news service of Rocket Mortgage by Quicken. Rocket Mortgage is simple, so you can understand the details and be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states. Equal housing lender. NMLS number 3030. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Energizer is buying Rayovac. Energizer Holdings is purchasing Spectrum Brands, the parent company of Rayovac, for $2 billion in cash. Energizer also owns the Eveready brands. The company that received the most complaints from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau last year was Equifax. Student loan refinancing company Lend EDU says Equifax received more than 30,000 complaints. You'll likely be seeing more promotion of platinum jewelry, and you can blame electric cars. The Wall Street Journal says the platinum industry fears losing industrial business, so it's promoting the metal for jewelry. Platinum's largest use is in catalytic converters, and electric cars don't need them. The markets were closed yesterday for the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 in Chicago. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hi, Amy Jacobson here, and I'm excited to tell our listeners that own or manage companies about a company you likely haven't heard of. I know that sounds strange, but with over 30 years in business, they've never had to advertise. They're that good. Anion Blinds is a local company that shares our values and have been selling and installing blinds, rolling shades, shutters, and motorized window treatments to area businesses for over 3 decades. And every review is positive. You'll be amazed how cost-effective it is working with experts who can recommend the right products, install them, and guarantee all their work. From property managers and Fortune 500 companies in need of replacement window treatments to startups in the decoration phase, Anion Blinds does everything right. Call competitively priced Anion Blinds today for your window treatment consultation at 630-662-1621 or visit AnionBlinds.com. That's ANION Blinds.com.
Relying on checking your credit to help protect you from identity theft? You're kind of walking through life with blinders on.
Parking meter. That came out of nowhere.
Because there are many kinds of identity theft you can still get blindsided by.
Bike messenger. Didn't see him coming.
Like someone getting an online payday loan in your name or selling your personal information on the dark web.
Open manhole. That snuck up on me.
LifeLock sees more. We use proprietary technology to detect a range of identity threats. And if you have a problem, a U.S.-based identity restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock can spot threats you might not see coming.
Horse-drawn carriage. Sheesh.
Memberships start at $9.99 a month plus applicable taxes. Now get 10% off. Go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code NEWS. That's promo code NEWS. LifeLock. More detection, more protection.
It is 8:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound delays start at Oakton. It's 35 minutes from Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 40 at Kennedy. It's an hour and 23 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 58 minutes from Montrose, 42 in the Express. Outbound 37 minutes to Montrose, but an hour and 3 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour and 18 minutes, 390 to downtown. 53 minutes from Manheim, outbound 50 to 390. Stevenson, an hour 14, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44 minutes. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 40 minutes, I-80 to the Merge. Bishop Ford, an hour. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, heavy Lawrence to North Avenue. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State delays are from Cicero all the way up to the Eisenhower. Adams Tollway, 31 to Roselle. And westbound Roselle to Barrington. Reagan Tollway from Orchard to 355 and Midwest to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial, it's heavy from 143rd to the Reagan Tollway and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Westbound 8094, now stop and go Chase decline. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly cloudy and cold with occasional snow and flurries. Accumulation of a coating to an inch. Storm total snowfall amount 4 to 8 inches. High today, 25. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
Currently 14 and snow at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Mortgage Makeovers, a show walking you through stress-free mortgage options. Mortgage Makeovers, Sunday afternoons at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good Good morning, Dan and Amy. And the
there.
question of immigration, or to the question of the issue of immigration, DACA specifically, border security specifically, but the immigration legal regime generally. There seems to be some predicate questions we should ask in order to get a full expression of divergent views on the topics. Number one, is DACA a government failure? Is DACA a government failure? Not dissimilar to the false alarm in Hawaii. Does the fact
It
that we
lasted
have
longer than 38 minutes.
does the fact that we have 800,000 people in this country who were brought here, I know not of their own volition, by their parents, and were able to gain entrance and then gain temporary status, is that a government failure? Because if it is, then should we be pursuing a remedy to that failure? And is that remedy going to be what most remedies are to most government failures, kind of borrowing from Groucho Marx, misapplying the wrong remedies, make it bigger? Just like in Hawaii, the problem with the one guy who, quote unquote, accidentally pressed the button twice is there wasn't two guys in charge of the button.
Right.
So the problem with this DACA deal is we're only worried about the children and not their extended family. Or we're not letting in enough immigrants from Central American or other countries based on their desire to be here, based on their perspective, as opposed to America's perspective and America's interests. I mean, if you don't kind of get those first questions answered, then all you have is a bunch of name calling back and forth. Let me give you an example of that and why I think that based on Durbin's disclosure of what Trump said during their meeting on the topic, Dems don't want a deal. They want mascots to be able to use for political purposes.
Well, they're alleging, I mean, how could he talk about immigration reform and DACA if he's a racist?
Well, okay, and the flip side is this, and this is where you get into this kind of mindless binary of name calling. Like, I can't do business with anybody who calls me a name. Okay, well, how do you talk about border security when you have individuals like Maria Hinojosa, who's the host of NPR's America by the Numbers, say this about ICE?
The other part, which is these three words, take them out.
Yeah.
When the president says that, within everything, the context of the conversation
Of deportations,
about
of arrests, of ICE, yeah.
Exactly. You know, Ali, what that means is to the ICE agents on the ground who walk around, as you know, with huge lettering that says police. They are not police. They're immigration agents. They are misidentifying themselves. When the president says this, basically take them out, that is what the community then is saying, this is fearful for us. This is the Gestapo on us. And so the fact that talking about these particular words, instead of saying, well, what are the consequences of right now what's happening? Because when he says that, the troops on the ground of ICE, they're ready to swing into action.
Right, and I understand the fears that people feel. Of course, I want to separate the idea that ICE agents are like Gestapo, but there are actions being taken place.
Ali, it is very painful to have to say these things, but the things that are happening, people are being asked for their citizenship when they're getting on buses in upstate New York. Agents are getting on trains and going through the train and spotting people and saying, what is your citizenship? So it's a horrible thing to say. But, you know, horrible things being said right now is part of the United States 2018 post-Trump.
So, no.
I mean, is that really happening? ICE agents are getting on buses and trains and approaching people?
I don't know. Maybe in a specific case where, ICE
looking
agents
for
are also arresting people who've been released in sanctuary cities and states like Chicago and Illinois, and they're otherwise doing their jobs. There's, enforcing immigration law. That's what we want them to do within the bounds of the Constitution, of course. And she doesn't make any specific claims. She just makes general claims to create this image of the jackbooted thugs that she characterizes ICE as being. They're Gestapo. And when Ali Velshi tries to bail her out, no, they are Gestapo. So you tell me, this is a representative of kind of the base of the Si Se Puede left, and how are Democrat Pauls like Durbin, who pander to them, going to cut a deal with President Trump on DACA in exchange for the border security measures and the immigration reforms that he's advanced? Is it Dems that really don't want the deal? For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Joel Pollak, who is a senior editor-at-large at Breitbart News and the author of the book See No Evil, 19 Hard Truths the Left Can't Handle. Joel, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning.
So what about that? What about my supposition that the Dems don't actually want a deal on DACA? They don't actually want to help DACA designees at this point. They just want to use that group as a cudgel in advance of the midterm elections.
I think that's largely true, and I think it fits the pattern of past behavior by the Democratic Party when there were opportunities not just to deal with the so-called dreamers, but to deal with illegal aliens as a whole. Remember that Barack Obama supported the poison pill that Byron Dorgan proposed about a decade ago to kill bipartisan immigration reform. So this is something they'd rather run on than solve because it mobilizes Latino voters and it stands in as a broader symbol of a civil rights agenda because Democrats are including now the right to immigrate illegally to the United States as a civil right. This is part of their broader political attack. Interestingly, a recent poll showed that DACA is only the number 12 issue for voters in the entire country and only number 8 for Democrats. The other issues like health care are much, much more important.
But do you think President Trump can do immigration reform if everybody out there is calling him a racist?
No, it makes it harder. If you're insulting the person across the table from you, that means they have less incentive to negotiate. Now, with past Republican leaders, that tactic has worked because Republicans are terrified of being called racist. So what Chuck Schumer did last night when he went on TV and said, well, if the president isn't a racist, let him prove it by passing DACA. You know, that used to work on Republicans in the past, but they've cried wolf so many times with Donald Trump and they've attacked him so viciously. And he's just a different kind of Republican who stands up to the media. It's not going to work. It actually shows that people like Dick Durbin are negotiating in bad faith. You don't leave a negotiation and trash the other party if you want to reach a deal. If they wanted to report some incendiary remark that Trump had said during the meeting and use that remark for political purposes, they could have done it after reaching a deal, right? They could have negotiated, they could have reached an agreement, and then afterwards leaked to the newspapers, oh, by the way, Trump said something awful. By the way, we don't know if he actually said it. There's some dispute about that. But it just shows you they're not actually serious about reaching a deal. They want this issue politically, and they want it because it mobilizes a section of their base that they want to bring to the polls in November.
And do you think that Republicans do a good enough job, and I'm going to just make a distinction here, the difference between pandering and apologizing and aggressively promoting that we are a pro-immigration party? We want talented people from Central America and Africa and everywhere else in the world to come to America, but we have to set up a regime that's reflective of serving the interests of American families, including all those new Americans, immigrant American families, rather than just saying open borders, and if you want to come here and you can get here, then you can stay forever. It seems to me there's a real opportunity there to put this back on Democrats to say, who should we not allow in? What should the regime be? And we're always playing defense on this because you have people calling everybody a racist or attacking ICE, and we rally to the defense of ICE, or we, trying to, I'm not a racist, like the president did yesterday at Mar-a-Lago, rather than putting Democrats on defense on the substance of the underlying matter.
The funny thing is that the reason many immigrants come to this country is to escape the kind of policies Democrats would like to pass in the United States. People come here from socialist countries. People come here from countries where the government controls people's lives. These are, in many cases, policies Democrats prefer, at least idealistically. And the result is that people flee those policies and they come here. I think you're right. Republicans do have a lot of room to expand that message that they stand for legal immigration and for legal immigrants. But there's also just a constituency out there that's just tired of hearing about this issue, that is tired of a small group being pandered to all the time. I think that you saw that in the 2016 election. You know, I know that Chuck Schumer has changed his Twitter profile so that it says, "I stand with Dreamers." Dreamers are technically illegal aliens, and there's a lot of people out there who just want their politicians to stand with Americans, to stand with the voters, to stand with the people who elected them, who they're supposed to serve, whose salaries they pay. I think that's becoming a point of contention for a lot of people. They're just tired of hearing about this issue. And for a lot of Trump voters, the frustration is that he was elected and the Republicans were elected to serve their interests, to carry out an agenda. And this issue, which really is about people who aren't Americans, technically, is being placed ahead of issues that are meant to serve Americans. So there's some resentment about the degree to which this has become a priority.
Yeah, but if they're functioning members of society, they haven't committed a crime, they've completed, college level education or post-high school education, don't you think they have a right to stay or should at least be considered to become American citizens?
They don't have a right to stay. First, they really don't have a right. I mean, if we start framing that in terms of rights, then you might as well just give the world a right to immigrate as long as they break our laws. It's just sort of ridiculous. But I think that there's some room on the Republican side for that argument, that people who have contributed in some way, who've shown that they have skills, that they're hardworking, that they're law-abiding, should have some process through which they can become legal residents. I think that's where the common ground is. When you start talking about citizenship and the ability to bring other people over, that's when Republicans fall out of that agreement. And that's why chain migration, that piece of this negotiation, is so important. We keep hearing that the DACA recipients, the Dreamers, were brought here through no fault of their own. But you can't make them citizens and then allow them to bring in the relatives who brought them over, the relatives whose fault it is. We can't allow that because
just
number one,
backdooring
it.
it.
Yeah. Law.
Yeah.
It's So I think that's where there is common ground on legal residency. Where there's debate is on citizenship and on all the things that citizenship allows you to do.
I wanted to just get an update because I'm sure people are interested with Steve Bannon's departure from Breitbart. Just kind of what's the state of affairs at Breitbart and the future of Breitbart?
I think the future is very bright. I mean, morale is very high. We are doing what we always do. We report the news. We're at the center of what's happening. We represent a lot of people who are concerned with what's going on in Washington and who are watching these negotiations with a great deal of alarm, but also a great deal of interest, very highly mobilized portion of the American electorate. And so I think we're going to continue to grow, and the foundations that Steve built and helped to expand at Breitbart are going to continue. I think that we've been amazingly lucky to have charismatic leaders at the forefront of our company and our website over the years. Andrew Breitbart, Steve Bannon. And one thing they've really done is empowered the other members of the staff to develop their own voice, to become prominent journalists, to cover the beats that the rest of America really just catches up to a year or two later. We were on top of the immigration issue in the primary against Eric Cantor several years before this even became something that people thought was going to be really important. It was before Donald Trump. It was before everybody. So we're ahead of the curve. We're going to continue to be there, and our audience is going to continue to grow.
All right. He is Joel Pollak, senior editor-at-large at Breitbart News, author of the book, See No Evil, 19 Hard Truths The Left Can't Handle. Joel, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
We may have some peaks of sunshine this afternoon, but still a light flurry falling at O'Hare Airport. We're going to get to a high today of 24 degrees. Tonight it will be clear, but very cold, a low of just 7 degrees. And tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, but still cold, a high of 21 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Most flights have been moving without delay this morning, but the roads are a different matter. 8094 westbound is jammed. Grant to Klein with a stalled truck in the center lane. Northbound I-65 is heavy. 49th Avenue to Ridge Road. Eden's 30 minutes. Lake Cook Junction outbound 40. Kennedy. Inbound delays start at Cumberland. It is an hour and 23 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 52 minutes from Montrose, 38 in the Express. Outbound 54 to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour 13, 390 to downtown. Outbound an hour. Stevenson, an hour 26, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 44 minutes. Bryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State, delays are northbound Cicero to the Eisenhower. Actually, those delays continue now most of the way up to the Adams Tollway and also slow 2E to Central. Adams Tollway, long delays, 31 to Roselle. Reagan Tollway from Orchard to 355 and Midwest to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial from 143rd to the Reagan Tollway and the Army Trail Toll to 290. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this show. Long-form interviews in our Against the Current series. 60 Seconds to Sanity commentaries from me. 2-minute warnings from Pat Hughes at Illinois Opportunity Project. Podcasts of our Illinois Rising program covering state policy and politics. Our Heart of the Matter show featuring professional women speaking collegially about the important issues of the day. The topic this week, the latest installment, when does the Me Too reckoning come to Springfield, the legitimate reckoning associated with the Me Too movement. And then don't forget our sister site, defendhomeowners.com. Defendhomeowners.com. Get a free property tax report on your home. See how the highest property taxes in the nation are destroying your home's value. Sorry. Fact. And what you can do about it, starting with downloading a petition to help us get the necessary signatures for a question on the 2018 ballot that would change the way Illinois does property taxation to mirror Indiana's. Return your home equity and home value to you. All the property tax info at defendhomeowners.com. Everything else, upstream-ideas.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because of my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, MUELLER, CPA.com.
Roof is needy?
Call Grumweedy. 630-595-8020.
Roof is leaky?
Call Grumweedy.
630-595-8020.
Shingles are curly? Call Grumweedy.
630-595-8020.
Roof isn't right after it's stormy? Call Grumweedy.
630-595-8020.
Here comes winter. This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson of Crumweedy.
Since 1953, the roof guys for your home and business.
We fix roof problems. Hate the high pressure?
Not from us.
We give you multiple options. Then you choose.
A roof that lasts at a fair price.
We fix roof problems.
When your roof is needy, call Grumweedy.
How about the number? 630-595-8020. 630-595-8020. Call us. We make sure your warranty is in place. Crumweedy, 630...
Wait. Just remember, myroofisneedy.com.
Ever had an obstructed view at a show or an event?
This is so amazing.
What?
That's so amazing. I can't see around this concrete column.
That's what it's like relying on checking your credit to protect you from identity theft. You get a limited view.
She looks beautiful.
Who looks beautiful?
You might detect credit changes, but you can miss threats, like someone getting an online payday loan in your name or selling your personal information on the dark web.
Did you see that?
See what? The concrete?
With LifeLock, you can see more. We use proprietary technology to detect a range of identity threats, and if you have a problem, a U.S.-based identity restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock can alert you to threats you could miss.
Told you this was worth seeing.
You are killing me.
Memberships start at $9.99 a month plus applicable taxes. Now get 10% off. Go to lifelock.com and enter promo code NEWS. That's promo code NEWS. LifeLock. More detection, more protection.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll pick up our discussion about said DACA recipients / dreamers with Victor Davis Hanson at 8:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 15 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, a wind chill of 3 below. Officers are responding at this hour to an active shooter situation just outside of Pittsburgh. Police in the town of Youngwood say gunshots were heard at a gas station, the gunfire prompting a shelter-in-place at nearby Westmoreland County Community College. 3 sheriff's deputies and a police officer severely wounded after an ambush in rural South Carolina. Suspect also wounded by police now is in custody. York County, South Carolina sheriffs say deputies were answering a domestic violence call last night. The suspect fled. Searchers were combing the woods for 47-year-old Christian Thomas McCall when he opened fire. A California couple is in custody for repeatedly torturing their children. Around 6 Sunday night, a 17-year-old girl managed to grab a phone and escape from a home in Paris, located about an hour east of L.A., and call 911. Investigators arrived shortly thereafter and found 13 children, ranging in ages from 2 to 29, malnourished and living in filthy conditions. Olympic gymnast Simone Biles says she was also a victim of sexual abuse by former Team USA gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar. A sentencing hearing for the former Michigan State University and USA gymnastics doctor will begin today. Rachel Den Hollander, former gymnast, is among those who will be making statements.
To finally see justice coming for him is very healing.
Nassar will face a minimum of 25 to 40 years in prison for what prosecutors say is sexual abuse of women and girls for over 2 decades. Charges are now pending following a deadly shooting over the weekend outside the North Riverside Park Mall. A person of interest has been taken into custody in that case. An investigation continues after an employee was shot during a robbery over the weekend at a Family Dollar store in Lansing. And police are searching for a man accused of attacking an elderly woman during a home invasion in West Chicago. Bulls upend the Heat 119-111 in Chicago last night. Nebraska tipped the Fighting Illini 64-62 on the hard court. Fighting Illini now 0-6 in the Big Ten. The news, a service of Rocket Mortgage by Quicken. Rocket Mortgage is simple, so you can understand the details and be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states, equal housing lender, MLS number 3030. 8:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says talk of a coup is no laughing matter.
I want you to consider the seriousness of an attempt at a coup. This isn't funny. This isn't lighthearted. This shouldn't be just gossip. Watching people attempt to take down a presidency is starting to really get my attention.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store.
featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
.35 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. In Northwest Indiana, westbound 94 is jammed. State Road 49 to US 20 with a crash in the 3 left lanes. Westbound 8094 has delays Broadway to Klein with a stalled truck in the center lane. Edens is 30 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 40. Inbound Kennedy, an hour and 21 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 53 minutes from Montrose, 35 in the Express. Outbound 48 to O'Hare. Eisenhower's, an hour and 13 minutes, 390 to the Circle. 53 minutes from Mannheim, outbound an hour to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 36 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 46 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 19. Bishop Ford, an hour, 8094 to the Merge. Northbound Tri-State jammed. Cicero most of the way to the Adams Tollway and Toohey to Central Road. Eastbound Adams Tollway delays, 31 to before Roselle. Westbound from the Tri-State to before the Devon Toll after a crash, and Roselle to Barrington. Reagan Tollway, Slow Orchard to 355. Veterans Memorial from 143rd to the Reagan Tollway and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Cloudy, cold, still some snow and flurries out there, up to another inch possible, high 24. Currently 14. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. Barack Obama and I live in two different Americas. I will explain that when freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Can we get a deal done on DACA? Lindsey Graham certainly hopes so.
Yeah, he used the media yesterday to make a direct plea to President Trump.
Mr. President, close the deal. 80% of Americans want to give the DACA kids a better life, and 80% of Americans want to secure our border and change a broken immigration system. It's going to take you, Mr. President, working with Republicans and Democrats to get this done. It's not going to be done on Twitter, by tweeting. It's going to be done by talking and understanding.
Yeah, it's a bit of a complicated three-dimensional challenge, though, not just because of the demagoguery of Durbin and others on the left, and a question about their sincerity in getting any kind of deal done that would be serious about border security, despite the fact that, a barrier plus security, it actually works. Imagine that. New York Post, Paul Sperry reporting on El Paso.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's already a wall in place. Yes,
Yeah.
I lived in El Paso.
When the project first started in 2006, illegal crossings were 122,000. By 2010, when the 131-mile fence was completed from one end of El Paso out into the New Mexico desert, immigrant crossings shrank to 12,251 immigrant crossings. That's, so basically a reduction by a factor of 10.
Yeah.
So it does work. But Dave Bratt, of course, congressman from Virginia who replaced Eric Cantor, he sat down with an interview with Ginny Thomas, Colonel Thomas's wife, for Daily Caller, and he said this: here's the challenge with respect to DACA plus new immigrants plus welfare reform.
In 2016, we allowed in 1.8 million legal and illegal last year, in 1 year, 1.8 million. So that's 2 million plus 4 million, that's 6 million people. And we've got a bank shot coming, a double bank shot, because we also want to do welfare reform. So Paul Ryan is a genius on welfare reform. So this is all good, going way back, right? Robert Rector and Heritage and all this kind of thing. But the confusing thing there is we're going to take able-bodied people, right, that have left the workforce. So they're not even counted in the unemployment rate anymore, right? So the unemployment rate's very low. It's 3 or 4. But it would be 8 if you counted these folks, right? 20 million people that have left the labor force. They've been displaced by something. So now immigration, we've got 6 million people coming in 1 year, displacing American workers, right? And we're going to do welfare at the same time, trying to get those people that were just displaced back in the workforce. And so it's just a colossal problem, right? We basically have to fix all of this.
And he's multiplying from the 800,000 based on the idea that if you don't do anything about chain migration or, to address Durbin's delicate sensibilities, family reunification as the basis for immigration. We were just talking with Joel Pollack about, give the dreamer status, then allow them to bring in family members. You're backdooring back into the country people who did come here illegally of their own volition. And what kind of sense does that make? And then you get to the larger numbers that Brad is talking about, and then the implications in the context of welfare reform you want to do and underemployed Americans that are looking for work. Turns out to be pretty complicated. And the only person I know who can distill it for us is Victor Davis Hanson, National Review columnist, senior fellow at the Hoover Institute, and author of the new book, The Second World Wars, How the First Global Conflict Was Fought and Won. BDH, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So you opined on this topic. I read your piece in the LA Times, and you started with let's establish a baseline about these 800,000 DACA beneficiaries or dreamers to distinguish the actual universe from the stylized vision of them that is being promoted by the press.
Well, I mean, they're not all 19 years old at Stanford, and the average age is somewhere between 24 and 26. They did come as minors, but most of them are no longer minors, and that means they've had 4 or 5 years to address their immigration status as adults, but very few of the 800,000 did. We hear a lot that they're in the military. Less than about 1/3 of 1% join the military of the 800,000, no more than 900 people. And only 5% ever graduated from high school. About half have dropped out of high school. Excuse me, only 5% graduated from college. Only half have graduated from high school or are still in high school. So and that statistic is what I see. I'm at sort of ground zero in Central California. I'm speaking to you when I have neighbors about a quarter of a mile away that are mostly illegal from Mexico. And I see their parents, people in their 40s and 50s who came, but I don't see a lot of the children going to Harvard or going out every day and working. We've had a terrible gang problem here. The local town met last night to address the epidemic of crime. And it's what a person who was rational might expect if you were going to import 500,000 people from one of the poorest areas in Mexico and Central America, and people were going to come without legality, without a high school diploma, and without English. So how this translates into Democratic politics, I don't think the Democrats can negotiate, because their whole electoral college strategy is predicated on flipping the American Southwest from red to purple to blue. And part of that strategy is bringing in voters from very impoverished regions and having them dependent on subsidies. And they don't say that, but if I was a Democratic strategist like Jennifer Palmieri just wrote a memo, the Clinton former communications director, saying, we really need DACA because it's central to our strategy. She's right about that. So that's what it's about. And to the degree that Lindsey Graham is sort of wishy-washy or squishy, it's a larger issue for a lot of the Chamber of Commerce, Wall Street Journal Republicans. They want inexpensive labor. And
well, you mentioned the people
inexpensive
that
labor and future. Go ahead. I'm
yeah, you
sorry.
mentioned the people that live near you, and there's you have a gang problem. Do you want ICE to just come in and round up everyone and send them back to Mexico? I mean, do you think that's the solution, or maybe just the gangbangers?
Well, I would think that all of us, you, I, your audience, we all know what the solution is. It's to look at the 11 million people here illegally and say you broke the law. The first thing you did when you came here, and with the exception of the DACA people, you broke the law. And then it became easier to break other laws like federal affidavits or Social Security applications or disability where people use phony names. But we can solve this problem by saying, build the wall, have E-Verify, stop chain migration. In exchange for that, allow us to deport people who have no work history, and there's some of them that have never worked, or have committed a serious misdemeanor or felony. And then the rest of the people who speak, willing to learn English, willing to pay a fine, who have a work history, have not been on public assistance, have not committed a crime. And I don't know how many of that 11 million pool that would qualify, but it might be as much as 5 million. Not give them amnesty, but say, here's a green card. And what you want to do with that green card, if you want to renew it every year and you qualify, more power to you. If you want to apply to citizenship, get in line like everybody else. And I think that's the solution. But I don't think that can happen because that's antithetical to what the Democratic Party sees as its success in California, Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada, and it's not going to give up open borders. It's just not.
Well, right, and the Republicans don't do a great job cornering them to admit that what they really want is open borders. They wouldn't exclude anybody. The way they want to do immigration policy is based on the perspective of the person who wants to come here rather than based on the perspective of the interests of the American people, including all of the immigrants who are here. And I think if you could kind of distill that for the populace, you could maybe cut through some of the racial demagoguery.
I think so, but in reference to the anecdote I just adduced, when the SWAT team did come, it didn't make much difference because we're a sanctuary state.
Right.
And we're also, my local community is a sanctuary city, so it's illegal for any of them when they came and they saw people head out through the orchards and vineyards in flight, they couldn't pursue them because if they were to find out they were here illegally and they didn't see them actually committing a crime, there's nothing they could do. And they know that. And so there's other things that happen that we're not supposed to talk about, but if you look at certain statistics, half of all accidents in Los Angeles County are hit and run. And California is only 1/6 the population. We have 1/3 of all the welfare recipients. 22% of the people live below the poverty line. 1 out of every 4 people in the entire state wasn't born here in the United States. 1 out of 3 people admitted to the hospital for any reason whatsoever were found out to have type 2 onset diabetes. So there's an enormous amount of social and criminal justice, legal, educational challenges that happen when you have immigration that's not diverse. Everybody talks about diversity, but 1/4 of all immigrants are coming from Mexico, and the other 1/4 are coming from Central America and Latin America. And it's not measured, and it's not legal.
Well, just to pick up on that, because there's an interesting piece by Tyler Cohen, and of course the left wants to make this, if you're not for open borders, then you don't like black and brown people, and you don't want them to come here, and the president's comments didn't help. But Tyler Cohen had an interesting piece in Bloomberg where he points out how educated so many of the African immigrants coming to this country are. 42% of individuals born in Africa living in the United States have a bachelor's degree or better. Those coming from Nigeria, 17% have master's degrees. 3/4 of African immigrants speak English. So there's a group of individuals that are going to have a much easier time assimilating. They've got an educational background that makes it disproportionately likely that they'll be self-sufficient. So, okay, fine, from Nigeria or from other African countries with education and, even poor countries with education and the ability to be self-sufficient and fluency in the language, great, no problem. It's these other problems that present themselves when you don't have a merit-based system like one that brings in individuals as I'm describing.
I think that's true, and that same paradigm holds true for Latin America. We have people in Fresno County that comes from Argentina, Brazil, Chile, and they don't come en masse, and they don't come illegally, and they don't come without high school diplomas, and they integrate, intermarry, and assimilate very rapidly. But every statistic, every study that's ever been shown is that if you bring people from one place and they come in great numbers and they don't know the native language or customs, and the attitude of the host is to treat them in a tribal manner, not to assimilate them, and that's pretty much what we do now in California, then you're not going to have assimilation or integration. If you're not going to have assimilation and integration, you're not going to have parity with the host population. If you don't have parity, then the state's going to have to step in and say, here is help with education, here is help with welfare, here's help with health care, here's help with criminal justice. And if you're going to do that, then they're going to develop an industry that says, well, they don't have parity, not because they came illegally, they don't have a high school diploma, but because the host was illiberal, racist, xenophobic, and then you have that entire identity politics process continue. And I hate to be so cynical, but that's what the progressive movement wants. And so when we hear that they're not going to negotiate, or DACA or Durbin could no more go into that meeting and with it, without being disingenuous. He couldn't go in there and just be empirical and say, Mr. President, we really want to protect these 800 kids. If they haven't committed a crime and they're productive, either working or in school, let's just finish the wall. We used to be for the wall. We used to be for E-Verify. We used to oppose chain migration. I myself said that on the record. And let's cut a deal. But that's not going to happen. It can't happen.
He is Victor Davis Hanson, historian, writes, you can get his writings at National Review, senior fellow at the Hoover Institution, and the new book from Victor Davis Hanson, The Second World Wars, How the First Global Conflict Was Fought and Won. Victor Davis Hanson, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, Butch, all I ever see you eat is raw meat, whiskey, and an occasional bowl of rusty nails. Now, I know you're tough, but with your diet, what's your secret to avoiding the flu?
Jim, this is between us. You hear?
Sure, Butch, you can trust me.
Well, I take Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. I take them on the go or under the table when no one's looking. It's the only way I'd ever get over 10 real servings of fruits and vegetables.
Is it like a vitamin or something?
No, it's food. They only use real whole ingredients. Not that isolated or synthetic crap you get with all the other guys. This is real stuff, Jim. Real stuff. They sell direct to consumers and ship right to your door, free of charge.
Well, Buckaroo, how do I get them?
Call them at 1-800-2468-751. Write it down, Jim, before someone sees me. It's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code WAGON for a special offer.
No more excuses, gentlemen. It's a new year. It's time to do the things you've been putting off, especially when it comes to taking care of your health. I personally recommend visiting my friends at Low T Center. That's where I got my levels test. They make it quick and easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you know results in about 20 minutes. At Low T Center, their physicians exclusively diagnose and treat men with low T. If you do have low T, it can make you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol levels, cause weight gain, and cause you to lose muscle mass. If this is something you've been experiencing, you should go get your testosterone levels checked. Guys, take the first step this new year. Contact my friends at Low T Center, now with a location in downtown Chicago, on the Mag Mile at 625 North Michigan Avenue. Call 312-239-3427. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's me. The number again, 312-239-3427. Call 312-239-3427 now, or go to lowtcenter.com.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dynavite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000. 859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Hey, if you're a doctor looking to secure financing on a new home with no money down and no PMI, then you need to do what I did and call David Hochberg and the Team Hochberg mortgage experts to secure information about the Team Hochberg Doctor Program. This amazing loan program is available to medical doctors who have at least an MD, DO, DDS, or DMD degree and an employment contract. Medical doctors, including dentists, podiatrists, ophthalmologists, veterinarians who qualify, can purchase a home with no money down and no PMI. That's right, no money down, no PMI. David and the mortgage experts at Team Hochberg are one of the few lenders to offer this exclusive and amazing loan to doctors. If you or a family member is a doctor and you would like more information about this outstanding loan program, then call David now, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. David and Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners. But guess what? They can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, NMLS 19186.
Message and data rates may apply.
Guys, this may be the last time you ever have to think about hair loss. Because I'm telling you, Bosley is the real deal. They're giving men their hair back permanently. Their real hair. All it takes to get started on the hair gain train is a single text message. We'll send you a link with direct access to a special website that unlocks an incredible offer. An absolutely free information kit and a free gift card. Simply text STRONG to 85850. Bosley will show you for free how great your hair could look. Dude, this isn't your dad's hair loss treatment. People all over the country trust Bosley because they're America's #1 hair restoration expert, ahead of the curve with the latest technology. And the best part, Bosley's solution is permanent. Drop what you're doing, get direct access to a special site for your free information kit and gift card for $250 off by texting STRONG to 85850. That's STRONG to 85850.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com. Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Ament, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman & Ament and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Dassman & Ament needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Old Man Winter is here, and you'll need a heating and cooling company you know you can depend on. Look no further. That company is the original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling. They're not one of those massive impersonal companies with inexperienced technicians and subcontractors. Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling sends only their own highly skilled technicians. From service to installation and everything in between, their work quality and customer service is the best. The original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling keeps homes and businesses comfy and warm. Call Carrie at 847-545-1700 or visit arlingtonheightsheatingandcooling.com. Mention AM 560 and receive 20% off your first service call. That's Carrie at 847-545-1700 or online at arlingtonheightsheatingandcooling.com. The original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, not the biggest, just the best.
AM 560, The Answer.
We have some new information about those 13 kids that were locked up like animals. They said they were locked up like slaves. That's how one sheriff's deputy describes it. And he said after the 17-year-old got out, called 911, they went to the house. They thought she was 9 or 10 years old because she was starving. I mean, she was malnourished, and they took all the kids away. The kids were begging for food. They fed them right away, interviewed all of them, and then took them to local hospitals. And they asked the parents, what is going on here? And they had no response.
The dad looks like Jeff Daniels from Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, he does. And he's pretty dumb, and there's a special place in hell for him. Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical director, our associate producer, Quinn McCarthy, and, of course, the Keith Conrad, our executive producer. We are back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now let's go into the newsroom with news from here at home and around the world. Here is Mike Scott.
Sunshine breaking out across Chicagoland after a morning of winter weather. Chicago police still hiring mostly white recruits. Will have reaction to a Sun-Times story. Bulls are held off the heat last night while the Fighting Illini continue to lose in Big Ten hoops. Mainly cloudy and cold with snow throughout this day. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.